Welcome to another edition of Against the Grain Sports Podcast Uncut. And I'm your host, Jody Coleman, in the building, man. I hope everybody's enjoying their Saturday morning, man. This summer morning, well, not summer quite yet, but it's summer coming very soon. And I'm enjoying this weather. I take this weather over any winter time weather anywhere. I challenge that to anybody. Every time it gets cold in the Midwest, I always say that I'm going to move to a warmer climate, but it never happens. Got my man Jarrell Solo on Sports Glenn all the way here from San Antonio, Texas. Man, how you feeling, my boy?
Man, you over here talking about it ain't summertime, baby. Down here, it's in the 90s. For the last 2 weeks, it's been in the 90+ degree weather down here, man. So summer started like a month ago down here, is pretty much.
That's y'all normal. That's y'all weather though, man. That weather is
Yeah.
normal for y'all. It's
This,
not
this,
like
this,
we
this,
are in the mid 80s right here. You
mm-hmm.
scat. Hey, so I'm gonna switch off real quick.
Okay.
Go ahead and get your dialogue.
Yeah, man. Like my man Jody been saying, talking about summertime. It's been like 90+ degrees down here in Texas, and we'll be getting a lot of rain. So rain equals mosquitoes, and flies, heat already, and it's not even really in the thick of summer yet. But it is what it is, man. What is really hot is the NBA Finals. We got a big game 5 tonight. Can the Knicks close out the Spurs in San Antonio? It's going to be very interesting to see. Can the Spurs bounce back from that big loss on the road? I'm looking forward to see if these young guys can forget about that. Like, it's like a quarterback, we throw an interception. Forget about that last play. We got to move on to the next one. Let's see if this young team, they're saying all the right things right now. We forgot about that one game at a time, that player talk. Can they really bounce back from that tough loss the other night? I'm looking forward to see if they can do that.
Absolutely. So we got a big shout out to Kathy. She's in the building. She said, "What's up to the fellas?" We got my man Eagles Philly. Said, "Good morning, good brother. Keep doing your thing. Stay safe and stay blessed." All the way from Philadelphia, PA. A big time subscriber of Against the Grain Sports. Before we even get into anything, guys, before we even talk about this, man, first we want to talk about our sponsor. Our sponsor is Michael Wright, attorney at law. Any personal injuries, any wrongful deaths, any workman's comp, you can call Mike. Like I said, just call Mike. That's his mantra. You can call him at 937-222-7477. No matter what what state or city you're in, you can call him in the United States, and he will be able to reach out and take care of you for legal purposes. He is a sponsor of Against the Grain Sports. I want to go ahead and get that out of the way. But secondly, I want to just shout out everybody that's been supporting Against the Grain Sports. So, like it's been a ride of epic proportion, man. We just hit 2.4 million on our last show. I remember Kathy, before she got off air, she said y'all was gonna hit 2 million. We hit 2.4 million. The show before that, 1.1 million. And it's time for us to just keep climbing and taking it to the next plateau, man. So we'll be able to get y'all the sports news, have fun. We one of those shows. If you talk to us, we talk back. So if you're on here, like, subscribe to all our platforms, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, IG. We're on there. Follow, subscribe. We got some good stories that go on throughout the week when we're not on here. So we putting some fabulous stories on his TikToks. I got some old school history. If you like old school history about college football and things of that nature, go ahead and check it out, man, because it's a lot of stuff that's nostalgia based and keeps you up to date on all your day-to-day sports news. I want to get that out the way. So
yeah,
I had to get out the way. But going back to what you were saying, man, we got a loaded show for our Saturday morning. We're gonna talk NBA Finals, the epic collapse of the San Antonio Spurs in Game 4. We're gonna talk about Game 5. Gonna talk about some NFL news and some college football news. World Cup is going on, so the Americans looking really good in the World Cup. That sport is normally dominated by European countries, but right now it looks like the USA is playing for fantastic football. Or soccer, we'll call it here in the United States. Man, what do you think about that real quick before we get into the show about the World Cup?
Well, the U.S. has the home field advantage. I mean, they're playing here in North America, so they have that on their side. They were saying this is one of the better teams they've had pretty much ever. So they said their offense is on fire, but they're a little shaky at goalie. But just like the Golden State Warriors, if you can outscore everybody, you can win a lot of games. And they started off hot this year, so they're playing in LA. I think the next game, I can't remember the next game, is they move around a lot in the World Cup. So maybe US can really make some hay in the World Cup. Hey man, do you believe in miracles? You never know.
I think this is one of them situations where the World Cup is normally, like I said, dominated by European countries.
Yeah.
Overseas, Mexico, Venezuela, things. I'm just naming a few. I'm not naming the star. I'm just naming a few. And normally the USA is usually bringing up the rear. Pause. But just like in basketball, it's like we starting to see the tables turn. Like basketball, remember America used to just completely dominate basketball across the world, and now the world is kind of caught up. Do you think that the U.S. have caught up in soccer? Do you think that that's the case?
Not completely that, Jody, because we don't have our best athletes playing soccer. We're all of our best athletes are stuck on playing football and basketball because they're the sexier sports. No one really plays soccer like that. Well, if we had our best athletes playing soccer, we would probably win some gold cups. Think of it. Think how good of a goalie Kawhi Leonard would be. You know what I'm saying? Those long ass arms and long hands. I mean, it is what it is. If we ever got to that point, I think we would probably dominate this sport, and the rest of the world don't want us to be doing that. They'd rather us play basketball and football and maybe a little baseball sprinkled into that.
No doubt. Eagles Philly said USA, USA, USA. I hope they go all the way. They have 5 players that's on the team from Philadelphia. So, he's definitely watching that. I just wanted to, throw that out there before we got to the show, because it's like the World Cup, man, it's been always dominated by European and foreign countries. And now USA seem to be competing at a high level. It's been like this the last few World Cups. It's not just this World Cup. So let's see if we catching up or not. But let's get into the NBA, man. NBA game. We're going to talk about game 4. The Spurs was up 29 points. But the crazy thing, so when I saw it, it was way too early. I was like, this game is not over, especially at halftime when they kind of cut it to 22 before going back to, I think, winning the halftime up by 25 or 27. And I just noticed in the third quarter, which is the Spurs' worst quarter, I've been saying that on this air since the finals. And so I said the third quarter is the worst quarter for the Spurs because they're such a young team. There's really no excuses. I'm not making any excuses. And that's why I say don't talk about the referees, because I think the refs was bad on both sides. I think they missed a lot of calls. One more glaring was the De'Aaron Fox, which was a bonehead play for him to even try to get the layup, but he did get fouled. But somebody said you can't reward a bonehead play. But then that's like, so I would hate for those people to be my judge if I was going to court, because if I did 18 things, but that's not what I'm in court for. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So just give me your thought process on this Knicks win, 105 to 104, and they're one game away from winning the NBA championship.
The young Spurs, what they did learn, Jody, from game 4 is that no lead is safe. They know that going into tonight's game. They do this every single game throughout the playoffs and the finals. The Spurs jump out on everybody. That's what they do. And it was even more glaring this time because the Knicks weren't making shots. So the Spurs said, okay, y'all going to make shots. We're going to hit all our 3 points in the first half. And it's human nature, man. Joe, we've been watching sports our whole life. We know, man, we get a big lead. You say the right things at halftime. The coach is saying, hey, look, guys, we got to treat it like it's a tie game. But the players like, yeah, man, we working these motherfuckers. Yeah, whatever. It's human nature to relax. We're going to keep playing the same way we played the first half. That's where they made the mistake. I mean, they didn't change their game plan. And Mitch Johnson, to me, I don't like the way he controlled that second half of that game. He said, look, guys, I know we hit threes in the first half, but they're not really going in the second half. Let's drive to the bucket. Let's get fouled. Let's get some free throws, hit some mid-range jumpers. Let's tighten up on defense a little bit. I don't know if he was telling the guys that, because it seemed like when they were up 20, they're still shooting 3-pointers. You're shooting threes as if you were losing. You were winning the basketball game. But I'm just looking forward to see. I mean, we've seen a lot of games of comeback. That was the most epic comeback and the biggest stage ever. For the Spurs to blow that lead, I'm interested to see the psyche of that young Spurs team going into Game 5 tonight to see if they can bounce back and get a win at home, because they haven't won a home game yet in this finals yet. They should have, but they haven't.
This is the crazy thing. I see a lot of people analyzing saying that the Spurs shot too many threes, which I agree. I think only person that was actually still hitting the three-point shot in the second half was Vassell. Vassell should have been the go-to guy in that game because he was hot in the first half. He was actually hot in the second half, because he was the one that stopped the bleeding when they the third quarter when they cut the lead down, I think like 11 or 12, and then Forsell hit the three to put it back up by 15 before they went into the third quarter. I think it was 90-75. But let's take this in consideration. The Spurs scored 30 points in the second half. So as many 3-pointers as they shot, that the New York Knicks defense had put a stranglehold on them defensively. You score, I believe, 74 points in the first half. You score 30 points in the second half. That's not going to get a lot of things done. But this is my thing, too. Like, when I saw the game, I saw the first half. The Knicks shot 22 free throws in the first half to San Antonio's 8. That's what people – when you're a shooter, you get an opportunity to score when the clock is not moving. That's why I was like, oh, this game is definitely – not over. That's why you didn't see me posting anything. You didn't hear me talking. You didn't see me in the chat because I'm a realist. And now you see comebacks on a consistent basis, and nobody's minds are blown when you see a comeback. Like if this was in 1995 and we seen a 29-point comeback, everybody would have been up in arms. Like I've never seen anything like that. Nowadays, people are almost looking at this 29-point comeback like it was natural because they did it to the Cleveland Cavaliers being the Knicks. They were down by 22, and they were down 22 in the second half. We've seen comebacks. Now, people are like, well, it wasn't 29 points. Yeah, the Spurs that did some things differently. Absolutely. But the thing about it is, so it's one game. And we lost 2 games in this series by 1 point. How can you adjust if you're Mitch Johnson in the San Antonio Spurs?
Finish the job. Simple as that, Joe. Don't overthink it. Don't want to get the players overthinking this whole thing. Is you do know in that moment when you get the lead, finish the fucking job. Hey, to be honest with you, Jody, I'm gonna be honest, man. The Spurs, if I played the Knicks in this series, the Spurs actually should be up or maybe a tied series. But if you don't finish in the fourth quarter, this is the result you get. The bad play call, the bad results at the end of game 2, and of course at game 4. Game that they should have had. They haven't been finishing the job. So I don't think they're gonna be able to come back and win this series, but they will learn a tough lesson moving forward if this team continues to stay, that core players stay together. Now we know what it takes to win a championship. We know we can't be bullshitting with these fucking teams, and we're better than. Put your foot on their throat and finish these jobs and stop acting like, oh, it's cool, we got the lead, we're gonna do our thing. No, so now they know and they learn the hard way that it's not over till it's over. And I'm thinking that that's a lesson learned. You know, all these young teams go through this shit. The only thing different about the Spurs is that they're doing it in the NBA Finals. Normally, the teams learn it in the first, second, or third round. We never thought the Spurs would get all the way to the championship. No one really predicted them to get this point. But now we're seeing it on the biggest stage. This team, to my eyes, isn't ready yet. Now, maybe next year they won't win the championship. But I think this year it's the Knicks season.
Well, let me ask you this. We
Yes,
talked so much about the Spurs breaking down. We know that De'Aaron Fox might have made one of the most bonehead decisions. Let's say, argument's sake, if De'Aaron Fox even makes that layup, it's still a 3-point game with 12 seconds left on the clock. My thing is, of course, in 2020, it's hindsight. I don't want to put too much pressure on De'Aaron Fox because he thought – I remember, and I'm going to get to what I'm saying. I remember I was coaching the JV game, and I had a kid – I even put his name out there, but he was a phenomenal athlete. He was a freshman playing up JV and varsity, but he had played JV in his game. We were playing a team called Stivers, going against one of my good friends, Jarrell Yarbrough. He comes on here all the time. He speaks about his remember I told you he's a Oklahoma City fan and he's a Philadelphia Eagle fan. And he gets on, and I'm coaching against him, and we had the ball up by 1 point, and we got a steal, and my kid put his head down and went straight to the basket and smoked the layup. And they end up hitting the last second shot to beat me. And it was like deja vu. I know it was a JV game. That was an NBA game. It was just a lot of deja vu because I'm yelling at him like, stop, pull the ball out. And he just had a full head of steam. He said, Coach, if I hit the game, hit that shot, man, the girls would be looking at me. I said, you know what? I laughed. I was so pissed, but he made me laugh.
Yeah.
I had to think it was just a game. But you know,
Joe, did you feel like Pat, you won in that moment? Do you ever take that shot?
Right. I'm looking like, bro, why did you? I mean, he put his head down. And now this is in his argument and in De'Aaron Fox's argument. These are shots that De'Aaron Fox hits 100 times. If he's in the gym, he normally hits that shot 9 out of 10 times.
But if you think about this, Joe, everyone's saying De'Aaron Fox is a veteran on this roster. But the dude's only went through one playoff series before this one, and they lost that one. It's not like this dude done won championships with the Kings. You know what I mean? It's like he's never really been in a moment this big. So it's not like they're bringing CP3. If that was CP3, maybe he would have. He's a little bit more seasoned than De'Aaron Fox. Not that Fox is not a good player, he really is, and they're giving him shit. Everyone is coming down on him. Pause. But you cannot lose a 29-point. Just like they got that 29-point lead as a team, they blew that 29-point lead as a lead. Everybody had a part in them blowing this big lead. It wasn't just all on De'Aaron Fox. Wemby didn't play well. The coaching didn't do well. There was a whole lot of shit going on for them to blow this big ass lead.
Yeah, I mean, it was. That's why, as you can see, I didn't even get mad. I was like, I'm not blaming the refs. I'm not. I mean, De'Aaron Fox. Everybody keeps saying De'Aaron Fox is the bad player, and I'm like, he's not a bad player.
Nah, he's not a bad player.
I mean, people like he shouldn't be on the Spurs. I didn't like him on the Spurs. I'm like, dude, we got to the finals because of him. Like, I mean, you know, and Dylan Harper showed that he was a first-year player. Wemby showed that he was a 22-year-old kid. Castle getting a lot of ill-advised fouls. You know what I'm saying? Been putting himself in foul trouble. The only one that looked really good was, like I said, for Sales. He looked really good. Champezi, he didn't look really well. He played well in the first half. He's a streak shooter, but the person that I really disappointed on was the sixth man of the year, Johnson. This guy has been non-existent in this series.
I 100% agree with you, Jody. He's a sixth man of the year, and he can't even get you 6 points. This motherfucker don't be doing nothing, Jody. I know you see it. Like, bro, are you here to help the team? What the fuck are you doing? He's out there, even in that game. Was that game 3 when Wemby hit that big 3 and they called it off because Johnson pushed the center?
Pushed Mr. Robertson.
Bro, what do you? It's like he's not really helping the team. I don't understand why he's even getting minutes at this point.
But I do got a question for my esteemed colleague Jarrell Soul on Sports. I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Now, everybody was up in arms when Wemby elbowed the kid Nas Reed from Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
You said anytime it's above the head. You said it. I gotta bring the clip back. You said anytime it's above the head contact with the elbow, they should be ejected, right?
Yeah.
So why wasn't Mitchell Robertson ejected?
I don't know, bro. He should have got ejected for that also. No, I agree. He should have got ejected for that. I mean, like you said, if you go upside someone's head, man, with a violent elbow, you should be kicked out of the basketball game. For some reason, they didn't kick him out. Maybe because it's the finals. I don't know. They don't want to make themselves look like, hey, man, we got to keep our. Not that Mitchell's a star, be the big part of the tossed. But yeah, he should have got tossed for that.
Okay, I'll just check. Now,
you know what I'm saying? You know, Joe, I know we kind of talked about that, but he definitely, elbow was in the upside the head, bro. Anybody you go above the shoulder, it should be automatic ejection.
And also, too, I didn't know you can scoop a player like you playing football either. I didn't.
What do you mean?
You didn't see what's his name, Alvarado, scoop Wemby, and they called it a common foul.
Oh, when he grabbed his leg.
Yeah, I didn't know that was legal either, but I guess
he did the wrestling move on him.
Yeah, I guess it's legal.
There's so much shit that goes on in these games, Joe. You know what's crazy? That right there was out in the open. But there's so many little things that we don't see during the game. But there's so many fucking cameras now. They see shit that we don't see with our naked eye, right? It's like that last play when the Spurs had a chance to score, and they were saying that he threw the ball in the castle, right?
Yeah.
But Cat touched the ball, so the clock should have started as soon as his hand touched the ball. But the ref didn't see it live. So what if Castle would have got that ball and put that ball in? That means that shot would have counted, but the clock should have started running as soon as the ball. It's just so many little things that goes on in the game. It's crazy.
It's hard to ref these games, but if it's hard, guess what? Then add another official, because I'm not like I said, I don't have any problem with the refs, because the refs been bad on both sides. I can't say that I just didn't like the reason why I even brought this up, because a lot of people are like, well, they cheating for the Spurs. I said, how the hell we cheating for the Spurs? We will be up 3-1 if they were cheating for us.
My only, you know, I talk this shit about Wemby, you know, whatever. But my only thing is that play that they didn't call on Wemby when he pressed my man in the back of the head. That's the part. That's the only thing that bothers me. They missed the whole damn thing right there in the open. That thing that bothers me. And then after the game, they decided, oh, we're not going to upgrade that. Why are you not going to upgrade that to a flagrant 1? That's to me, that right there kind of like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Once again, so all this shit proves my point about European players. I don't give a fuck if it's on my team, your team, whoever team. They tend to get officiated and treated differently than American players. Because I'm going to say this too, I'm blue in the face. They do it with the Joker. When the Joker got into it with McDaniels in Minnesota, he clearly came over there and shoved him. Nothing was really done to him. No suspensions was issued just because the guy scored a bucket. Guess what? When you're on the court and the clock is still going, you have the opportunity to score basketball. Fuck all those unwritten rules. Where they at? Because they're unwritten. That's the reason why they're unwritten. And if he wanted to go score the bucket do a 360 dunk, because you got to think about it. In the Oklahoma City San Antonio Spurs series, it was a dunk at the end of that game.
Yep.
And the game was over. So I just look at it like, if you want to get them back, just get them back and do the same thing to them. Or, you know what I'm saying, actually win a game, actually compete in a game. I just don't like that. I think that Wemby should have been called for the call against Jalen Brunson in real time. Give him a flagrant. I don't think he should have been thrown out the game, but give him a flagrant. You know, maybe that will get his head right, and maybe he'll play the game with less emotion if he gets called that. Because sometimes it's not always a bad thing when you call a flagrant on these guys.
You know, but the thing is, though, the more flagrants you get, they add up. And let's say if they would have upgraded that one to a flagrant 1, and then he got another flagrant in game 4, that means he would have been suspended for this game.
No,
game 5. So
what I'm saying. So if he would have got called the first time, maybe he would have bagged off and he wouldn't have did it.
Could have been. Yeah, that's true.
He may would have started playing a little bit smarter, because Wemby has not really been playing as smart as, but he's playing, let me rephrase it, he's playing like a 22-year-old. But we talked a lot about the Spurs. Let's start giving some praise on the other side of the ball to the New York Knicks and the coaching staff and Mike Brown. And Anunoby has been, he's the finals, in my opinion, MVP so far, not Brunson. It's Anunoby. The guy is shooting at a clip of almost 60% from the field. It looks like he's not missing a three-point. I think he only got one missed free throw throughout this playoff finals run. What do you think about the Knicks side of the ball, man? We talk so much about the Spurs side and how much they fucked up, but what about the Knicks and how good they executed?
Remember, Jody, before the series started, you asked a great question of who is going to be the X factor in each team. I said OG is going to be a big X factor for the Knicks. Hey, go ahead. If Ray was here, he'd break out the gavel. He's playing like a thick Kawhi Leonard.
Yo.
Am I right, Jody?
He said he playing like
hooping.
I didn't know Debo Samuels.
I didn't know he was this good of a 3-point shooter. I mean, he's been keeping the Knicks in every single game. He's more efficient than Jalen Brunson. Now, mind you, there's more pressure on Brunson because the defenders the Spurs have was really wearing Jalen Brunson down. But what OG has done in this series, he saved the game the other night. Very impressed with the Knicks. They're just veterans, man. They have so many veterans on their roster, and I think that's the big difference in this series. And not that the Spurs don't want to win the championship. I just think some of these Knicks players have been through the wars and they know what they're gonna do, that little extra to get their team over the hump. But the Knicks have been playing well, even with Cat. You know, they tried to make him the MVP after the first 2 games. He disappeared ever since then. They haven't done anything but get in foul trouble, and he's done a few plays here and there. But right now, it's OG's, to me, MVP to lose.
Yeah, OG has been playing phenomenal, and I'm like, it reminds me of, I'm about to throw a historical perspective at you, and I'm a Reds fan. So the last time the Reds won a World Series was 1990. I believe I was like 12 years old when they won, and it was crazy. So because it was a guy on their roster named Billy Hatcher.
Yeah,
Billy Hatcher. I have never seen a person get as many hits in a series as Billy Hatcher. And he wasn't the star. Billy Hatcher wasn't even the starter for the Reds. He was a platoon player that came in. I think he came in and sparingly when they had Cal Daniels. He would replace Cal Daniels in the outfield. He would come in, pitch hit, and he stole bases. He would pitch run. But in this particular series, this guy was on fucking fire. He didn't go into the next season, 1991 season, on fire, but he was on fire against the Oakland A's. And this is what I think of Anunoby, because we looked at Anunoby a few years ago when he signed that 4-year, I think it's like $250 million contract, and everybody like, man, what are the Knicks doing? What is Jim Dolan doing? What is he doing with the Knicks, man? Where are they going with a guy that's supposed to be a 2 guard? Now they got him playing the 4, and now it's paying extreme dividends. So the things that the Knicks have done in the front office by getting Mike Brown, I questioned bringing in Mike Brown. I thought Tibbs was the coach. He got him to the Eastern Conference Finals. They were right about Mike Brown. They were right about Jalen Brunson. They were right about Anunoby. They was right about Mikal Bridges. Regardless of Mikal Bridges is playing, he's so up and down. He's like the stock market, but he's playing so up and down. And the Cat trade was the icing on the cake to get Randall out of town. Like you just made mention, Randall was never available when they needed him.
No.
But Cat has been. And I remember on this show, and a lot of people argued, I said, the Knicks are going to win this trade because Cat is not a bad player.
No, he's not.
Remember I was like, he's not a bad player. I said, and I said it on the show, I said, both teams are going to pay dividends, and they both have. Because Minnesota's had success. So let's stop acting like Minnesota just never made the playoffs, never got out the first round. No, they've been out the first round The last couple of years, it was just in the Western Conference Finals. But the Knicks, so talk to me overall with the Knicks, with the things that they have done, bringing in Jose Alvarado, bringing in Jordan Clarkson, keeping what's Miles McBride, a guy that they was all rumored to be on the trade block, keeping Mitchell Robertson. Talk to me about this roster, how that's constructed.
Oh, they have a nice roster, man. Josh Hart, also he's kind of the heart of the team. He don't play. His offensive game is up and down, and he was almost the goal of the series when he missed that layup in that game the other night. Boy, if he'd have missed that, and when he missed that, and if they'd have lost that series, would have put a lot of pressure on Josh Hart. But anyway, I'm like this Knicks roster. I don't know if they're built for the long run, but they're built for right now. I mean, they have a nice team. Their team's got depth. They don't. It's not all about Jalen Brunson. Everyone wants to give him all the love because he's the biggest name on the roster. But this team is built well. A lot of good shooting on this team. People doubted this Eastern Conference team. No one in the East going to win the championship. It's all about the West, the NBA Finals. Whoever wins between Oklahoma and San Antonio, it's going to win the championship. And Nick said, "No, hold my beer. I got other plans of that. So we need to stop shitting on these teams because their regular season record is not as good as the other teams in the other conference. The Knicks are really proving they're a championship roster. Oh, they beat Cleveland. Well, okay. Well, now they look like they're on the verge of beating San Antonio, one of the best teams in the league. But the roster is set up for this year. I don't know about long run, but this year they look like they're about to win the championship.
You got to realize the styles make fights. I
Yeah.
knew. I even said this to my son. He called me. He's a Knicks fan, and I said if the Knicks play Oklahoma City would have already won this. I think they may have swept New York because styles make fights. And I said the Spurs are going to struggle like they did in the regular season. And people forget that the Knicks beat the Spurs in the cup. So it's going if they win this series and win tonight or the next few games, they win the championship. They would have won the NBA championship over the Spurs and the mid-season tournament over the Spurs. And I don't know if a lot of people remember that. I just wanted to make sure they did. But let's get some, I'm not a big Eastern Conference fan, but it always seemed like there's one elite team out of the Eastern Conference. Because if you go back in the day, the Eastern Conference actually has been dominating the finals the last few years. Because you got all the way back to Cleveland winning, Toronto winning, Milwaukee winning, the New York Knicks on the verge of winning, the Boston Celtics has won. Only teams in the Western Conference that have won was Golden State. I think if you want to go back as far as San Antonio, Golden State, the Lakers, and you got to throw the Heat in the Eastern Conference as well.
Dallas won 1 year.
Dallas won. I'm talking about in the last 10 years. So,
yeah.
And because if whoever wins is going to be another crown champion, it'll be the 8th different championship in 8 years. And we haven't seen a repeat performance at the NBA championship since the Golden State Warriors, and they did it. So I just think that big shout out to the NBA as a whole. I just think the Eastern Conference, the bottom feeder teams, I do think that they need to do something. But I guess if you can make it out the Eastern Conference, then you are an elite team in the league.
And one more point, Joey. We've talked about this on this show, man. Today's NBA is completely different than what it was years past, man. Like you said, we got different champion every year. So let's not automatically assume that the Spurs are going to get right back to this point. Oh, they got Wemby, they got that, but they do also in the NBA have this thing called the Supermax, and you can't pay everyone. So you got to take advantage of your opportunities, man. Just because you got there this year does not mean the Spurs are going to go on a 5 or 6 year run and win 3 or 4 championships. That shit is not set in stone like it was back in the 80s and 90s.
Well, you already know how I feel about it.
Yeah, we've talked about this.
If you want to win now, I don't think you always bring up the reference of Dan Marino. You know what I'm saying? And the more recent person that has been on that same wavelength has been Joe Burrow. I mean, I know it's completely early because he's only going into his 7th season, but the way that he gets injured, you don't know if his 7th season, if he makes it 10, 15 years, because we thought that Andrew Luck could still be playing right now. And then we all think that Andrew Luck could still be playing right now. No, because Andrew Luck will still be in his 12th, 13th year, and that's prime football for most quarterbacks that are elite like him. And the guy never made it back. But let's talk about tonight's game. That could be the last game in the NBA Finals. So we got Game 5. It will be in San Antonio. The Knicks are up 3-1. What do you think happens? You just made mention of this young team having to lick their wounds and saying all the right things and adjusting like Dylan Harper said, he said, I just need to take a shower, get this off of me, and then let's get into the next games or whatnot. What do you think that can the Knicks close it out at home? I mean, on the road, or do the Spurs show some resilience and keep this series going?
Well, it's going to be kind of a home game for the Knicks. I know it was down here in San Antonio, but I think last I saw, Jody, you probably saw this also. I think over 50% of the ticket sales are from the state of New York. So it's going to be a Nick. It's going to be an orange and blue skies in the Frost Bank Center down here in San Antonio. So the Knicks are going to have that because, people are paying big dollars because they haven't seen the Knicks win a championship since the early 70s. So people are spending their life savings selling kidneys to get down here and to get tickets to this game. So that home court advantage don't mean nothing for the Spurs in today's game. I mean, they'll be playing at home, but it won't feel like a home crowd in this game. But I initially picked the Spurs and Knicks to go 6 games. They had the Knicks initially in 6 games. But I'm starting to get this vibe that the Knicks might be able to finish them off tonight. I don't know why. I just got this feeling. I could be wrong. We're wrong. I'm wrong all the time. You're more right than I am. Your percentage is a little bit higher than me.
It still ain't 100%, so I don't like it.
But it is what it is, man. I just got this feeling that I think the Knicks are going to finish this job off tonight. Probably, it'll help the NBA if they go ahead and finish tonight. Because if they went back in New York, it's going to be even crazier. So I think the Spurs bow down, and I think the Knicks finally get their championship tonight in San Antonio.
You know what's crazy, and this is I seen a clip before the NBA Finals started. I meant to talk about it. He said the cops better be on point basically in New York City because it is gonna be crazy. But I saw a clip and it was with KG, Kevin Garnett, and it was Paul Pierce. They were talking about how Wemby was crying after beating the Oklahoma City, and it sounds to me like KG had a hate. Did you see that? He was just like,
yeah,
they gonna get their ass busted against New York, and he up here crying. I'm looking like, bro, come on, man. Ain't you the same dude that got stolen on by Anthony Pillar? Ain't you the same one that got stolen on by AP, and you didn't do nothing about it? Ain't you the same guy that was talking about anything's possible? So why are you taking the emotion out of the game? And I brought that up to bring this up because I seen after the comeback, they spotted Tracy Morgan crying after the game that they came back in. They spotted Tracy Morgan crying. But nobody seems to be upset when anybody on New York side is emotional or calling game or being overconfident. But everybody else, if this was any other team that were dominant, like when Oklahoma City was winning last year, if Oklahoma City would have been saying we're going to win and our fans, y'all would have been calling them, y'all would have just hated the Oklahoma City for being so brash and confident. Why don't they have the same perspective when it comes to the Knicks?
It's not the players doing that, Joe. It's normal. It's just the fans. I think.
No, it's the players. Cat was crying after game 1.
He was crying? He said he thought about his mom in that moment. I think that's the reason why he was crying after game. I'm just what I thought. I saw him crying after that big game 4 comeback. I saw him emotional after that. After that, the zesty power forward was in tears a little bit after game 4. It's Jody. It's the whole New York thing, bro. I mean, they are so hungry for a championship. And I don't think the Knicks and the fan base can get away and say anything at this point. It's just the movie we're watching right now. It's all about the Knicks, so they can say anything, and as long as they win their championship, I think they get a pass. Not saying it's right, but it is what it is.
And like it's probably more, it's more conceivable that the Knicks will win this. I mean, of course, I'm a Spurs fan, and I'm all, you know me, I'm gonna go down with the Titanic. I'll be playing it until
we know you will, brother.
But it's crazy because I would hate to see the Knicks fans if somehow the Spurs come back and win it in 7. Like I would hate to see the energy because I get calls all the time. I get calls from everybody, man. You see this and y'all done, and I'm like, it's cool. Like, I mean, I'm not even mad. Y'all trying to get a rise out of me. I'm a 5-time champion. So I'm kind of used to winning. So I've won 5 championships since I've been an adult. It ain't like the Cowboy fans that's Cowboy fans now and had never seen a championship. They wouldn't even alive. My son wasn't even alive the last time they made it to the NFC Championship game. So, and I'm joking, I'm using it but I literally lived through every championship for my Spurs in the 2000s or the first one coming in '99. And it's like I'm not trying to get that cop out like, oh well, we got a championship, we can lose this, because I definitely want to win 6 because I want to catch up with the Bulls. But I just want to know what the energy is going to be like if the Spurs come back. Like, is it going to be very apologetic? You know what I'm saying? How was the move? Because everybody is basically saying that this series is over, man. What happens if the Spurs somehow get back?
Apologetic from who? Who we talking about? The fans?
The media. I mean, people just have written the Spurs completely off. Like is like LeBron James didn't just do this a few years ago against Golden State, coming back from 3-1.
Oh, it will definitely change the narrative. I mean, if we're gonna be like my man Kendrick Perkins, he bounces teams more than the Kardashian. He'll bounce around in your ass. He went from the Spurs to Oklahoma, and now he's picking the Knicks. So it would change overnight if the Spurs find a way to come back. Now the Knicks fans, they would be. It might be worse in New York if the Spurs came back and actually won this series. They would really flip out. They would be beside themselves. They wouldn't know what to think. But it just seemed like it's just set up, man. Even Joe, you're watching the games, bro. Even when they're playing New York music during the timeouts on this national broadcast. Now, mind you, I know the San Antonio don't have no big artists. I don't know if they're gonna play Selena or something. There's no big artists from this area, but it's like it's just the whole narrative. It's just set up. Seems like it's set in stone for the Knicks to win this championship this year, man. Like everyone wants this to happen, and I don't think the Spurs are gonna be able to stop this train running downhill right now.
Yeah, it's crazy work. What's up to my man Paul from the Extra Point, man?
What up, Paul? Paul had them guns out today, didn't
he? Yeah, he did. He was looking like a dude from the Green Mile. He said the Spurs have outplayed them for the most part. Very frustrating when you see, especially when it's your favorite team and you seeing that everything's executed for 46 minutes of a game. My man Jamario Nelson in the building from C-Dub. He said, good morning to the fellas. His Spurs win tonight. I think the Spurs win tonight as well. I don't know if the inevitable is going to happen. I mean, I don't think they can come back from a 3-1. I would love to do it because I would love to see a lot of these Knicks fans eat crow, and not the Knicks fans that are really just into the game. I'm talking about the ones that call me every 5 minutes to try to gloat like this series is over, But it's like when I call them, they don't answer their phone. You know what I'm saying? But it's all good. I mean, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And what I say all the time on the show, just had the same energy when it comes.
Oh yeah,
I give it to you. Because I'm the one that be like, cool, y'all got it. After they lost game 2, y'all didn't hear me complain one time because we got the best shot we could possibly get. We got it to our superstar, 7'4" guy. He hit this shot 7 out of 10 times, and he just missed the open shot that would have been a game winner in game 2. We had an opportunity to win, of course, to win game 4. We just didn't. So I mean, I'm not upset by the least amount of. I mean, we can call it the refs, we can call it coaching. It's a game of basketball, and guess what? 1 or 2 teams are going to fucking win. So you got a 50% chance that either one of these teams are going to win. So when people be like, man, I told you, I picked this game, nigga, you could have flipped a coin and got it right. Nigga, stop acting like y'all Nostradamus if y'all just picking the game and not breaking the game down of how it's supposed to be done. But I'm going to digress because people.
Hey, Jolie, we know Wemby's a modern day big. Do you think maybe he should learn one post move? Because you think maybe in some point is that game the other night, if Wemby had one go-to move in the post, because sometimes he get caught in that switch and he had Alvarado or some little guy on him, and they'll throw it down to him, he'll throw it back out, and he's not shooting the ball. It's like he's not comfortable with his back to the back basket at all. I think in the offseason he might want to learn 1 or 2 post moves instead of playing like a 7'4" guard. What do you think about that, Jody?
I definitely agree with that, but I'm gonna tell you what's dangerous for Wemby is when he's playing guys like Jose Alvarado, when he's playing those smaller Josh Hart, they're taking his legs out, and I think he feels that pressure on the back because when they push it on the back of his thigh because they so short.
Well, yeah.
And you see what Alvarado did by scooping him. Now, I understand we want to play physical basketball, but that was a football tackle on Wemby. And I think Wemby is – everybody go back to the Jalen Brunson situation. You go back to the elbow to Nas Reed early on in the playoffs. He's getting tired of being grabbed. And just like in school, the second person is usually the one that get in trouble. But if I go smack you on the back of the head and I turn around, the teacher didn't see me smack you on the back of the head. The teacher going to see you soccer punching me. And then I'm going to sit there like, I can't believe so hit me.
Yeah, but Joey, but welcome to being a dominant player in the NBA. All the greats that were dominant, this the tactic they used. Remember, they did this shit to Shaq. They did it to Kareem. They did it to Wilt Chamberlain. All these players, no one can stop these guys. So okay, well, Wemby, we can't guard him 1-on-1 naturally. Okay, he's 7'8", but he's light in the ass. So we can push him around. That's the only thing, or grab him. That's the only thing that the defenders have. I mean, they did this shit to Shaq too. This is part of being a dominant player. And Wemby's just going to have to, who I think is a great player, he's going to have to control his emotions sometimes and just say, this is just part of the game. I'm going to have to deal with that shit because at the end of the day, no one cares about your feelings. So if you start throwing elbows, all they're going to say is, oh, look, he's out there. He's being violent. He's throwing elbows. Well, they've been grabbing me the whole game. That just comes with territory when you're a dominant player. Look, even go back to football, Jody. Remember Cam Newton when he was doing this thing? He take hits, and they wouldn't call 15-yard penalties on some of these defenders. Oh, he's so big, he can take that. But if you go around and touch some of these other quarterbacks, 15-yard penalty, right? Am I right about that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right, but that's just the way, the nature of the way things are going in sports.
Hey, so I'm like this, man. Fuck it. Y'all, hey, Wemby, they put their hands on you, put their hands on. I don't give a fuck. Put your hands on them and get them up off you. If you got to throw an elbow to get them up off you, fuck it. If we lose a series, fuck it. But go out guns blazing. Don't go out like no bitch in San Antonio. We got heart because Castle is the toughest, as tough as they come, bro.
Oh yeah, he's legit.
That dude is tough as they come, and I ain't trying. I'm not. See, I'm always against a bully. I beat up bullies. Fuck that. And New York is trying to bully y'all, man. Fuck that. If you got to shove Brunson, because what I didn't like is they like, oh, they had Draymond Green, Charles Barkley on the same cast. They were talking, and they were like, I don't think they should have fouled Brunson. You know who to intimidate. Man, I intimidate every fucking body. I don't give a fuck if it's Brunson, Cat. None of them, they're like, what would happen if Charles Oakley and Mason would have played? They would have got their shit pushed in too. You act like Charles Oakley and Anthony Mason got championships. Like, I'm sick of motherfuckers having selective who y'all want to fuck with. I fuck with everybody. You fuck with me, I fuck with you. That was an emotional rant. Anyway, Paul said the Knicks fans are making the team unlikable. My man Jamario Nelson said this is a young team that has to go through these growing pains. And Kathy said she agreed with you, so. And then he said Castle had a bad game. For he did because Castle only 21 though, guys. I mean Castle's only 21. Wemby's only 22, and Dylan Harper's only 20. I don't know, but tonight's game, I do think Spurs win it some kind of way. I just think it's gonna be a huge parade in New York. But y'all better not fuck around, lose this game, and somehow lose and go to Game 7 in San Antonio because all bets are gonna be off. I think, of course, if we get to Game 7, I'm gonna be going with with the Spurs, but it's just sometimes destiny is destiny, and this might be destiny for the New York Knicks. But how have we ever seen? Hold on, before my man Paul said, "Okay, Jody, on that Zebo from the place where bullies get bullied." Hell yeah, Paul. Listen, man, I'm from Ohio, man. We don't listen, man. We don't do all that shit. But listen, dig this. Yeah. So we have a situation with the New York Knicks winning the championship, and the coach is Mike Brown, correct?
Yes, sir.
Remember, everybody kept saying that LeBron James never got coached by a good coach.
Mm-hmm.
So Mike Brown ain't a good coach.
Well, maybe when he was coaching LeBron, he wasn't a good coach. I memean, people just like players improve, coaches can improve as well.
Didn't he win 60 games with LeBron?
Yeah, but he don't get credit for that. They because going back to the Eastern Conference thing. Oh, he carried some bums, and the East was weak, but they did beat Detroit, I believe, in that conference playoff that year. Yeah, so he don't get credit for that, but he's a better coach. I'm assuming he's probably a better coach now than he was when he coached LeBron back in the day.
Okay, so Spoelstra was never a good coach.
Do you think coaching is very important in the NBA, Jody? Honestly, it's about players. You know what I'm saying, Jody?
I think they're the least important. Not saying they're not important, but they're the least important in probably all the four professional sports, including college football and college basketball. I think they're probably lowest on the list because I think the number one, I think college basketball coaches are the most important of the crop. And then I would say NFL coaching is 2.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably go college coaching at 3. Baseball managing at 4.
Very important.
Baseball managing at 4. I would say NHL at 5. but they be getting rid of hockey coaches at halftime and shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, God damn, how do you get fired? Yeah, I would probably say NBA coaching is probably last out of college, the major college football and basketball and professional sport. I would say they probably last.
Because name me a coach that's won a championship didn't have great players. It just doesn't happen in basketball. I mean, maybe you could probably say maybe that Detroit team with Rip Hamilton and they were good, but none of those players were elite. I would say that's probably the last time we've seen a team that actually won a championship, but not one elite level player.
Yeah, because you see it in football all the time. You like,
oh yeah.
You see it in football. No disrespect to the reigning champion Seattle, but it wasn't like Seattle was loaded with star players. Like you had, I mean, Jackson Smith and Jigma is really good. Sam Darnold played solid and the defense played good. But if you took their team and put all their faces without their helmet on, you probably wouldn't be able to know a lot of these guys. It wasn't a lot of star power.
You know what makes you a great coach? Having great fucking players.
Absolutely.
Especially the NBA.
Absolutely. I definitely agree.
Eric Spoelstra would never be talked about if LeBron never decided to take his talents to South Beach. It is what it is.
Hey, you said it, Casey Jones with Larry Bird, and you know what I'm saying? And he got Kevin McHale and RJ Arbuckle. Red Arbuckle had Bill Russell, and Phil Jackson he didn't win shit without Kobe, Shaq, and Jordan and Pippen. Like, it ain't like he went to, was winning championships without those guys, Pau Gasol and guys of that nature. So I agree. I think the best players, my nephew said all the time, he said, and I think that's what KD tried to say when he went to Brooklyn, like, well, we really don't need a coach. I think he meant that, but I don't think he meant it in that perspective. Kathy said MJ had to deal with the bad boy piss. I remember Larry Bird and had the scratch on the back of his last as he attacked him. And then Jamario said if a game 7 would be epic if it got to game 7 between the Spurs and the Knicks. It would probably be the most watched finals game in NBA history if it ever got. Yeah. But let's put in perspective. In all 4 games that's in this NBA Finals, the Spurs have been up double figures in each one of them.
Yeah.
So it's not like they can't compete. It ain't like they can't compete. It ain't like they getting beat like New York beat Atlanta by like 50-something points. It ain't like it was 80-something to 20 at halftime or nothing like that. So
the Knicks haven't played a complete game yet at all in this series, honestly. The Spurs have come close a few times. I mean, the Knicks won by, I think, 10 points.
Yeah.
That's probably their best game so far in this series. Can the Knicks put everything together and play great and close that game today? I don't know. We'll see.
We definitely will see. Kathy said Larry Bird said 80%, 10% luck, 10% coaching, if I remember correctly. And then they said they love the sports discussion, appreciate you. And they said great takes for both hosts. So we're getting a very entertaining show. So it's a lot of people that's giving comments. Appreciate y'all and thank y'all for coming in on that. But let's go ahead. Let's switch gears. That's the NBA. The NBA is coming down to a close. We'll be getting after the season. We'll get into the NBA draft as well as NBA free agency before we get ready for the NFL. But let's get to the NFL real quick, man. NFL news. So it's funny. What's new in the NFL right now? There's really not a lot of commotion. A lot of people are getting their vacations on right now. So Dylan Gabriel, I think, got his number back. I think they gave him Otto Graham's number or something like that. That was the only number that was available. I don't know if so I don't even think he needs to worry about a number because I don't know how much longer he will be a Brown. So what do you think about that, man? This is a guy that's causing more problems than giving more questions than answers in Cleveland. I mean, should the Cleveland Browns just part ways with this guy, man? Because it seemed like he's becoming more of a focal point of his number and talking and his girlfriend or fiance tweeting and shit.
What a wasted draft pick by the Cleveland Browns. They should have never drafted this guy, especially that high. There's no way he makes the roster. I don't see it. I mean, what can he get back in the trade for him? I don't know, Jody. Maybe he can go down to Miami and they need a backup quarterback. Maybe Arizona, but I don't know. I say get rid of the guy as soon as possible. He's not going to play. He's 3rd or 4th quarterback on the roster. They draft another quarterback this year, unless they're not very high on Dylan Gabriel. So yeah, I don't think he'll be long in Cleveland. If he bought a house, he probably want to go ahead and put that up on the market as soon as possible.
Yeah, it definitely was a waste because it's a third round draft pick.
Yeah.
We know how much talent in the NFL you can get in the third round. Because I believe the kid watched the safety from Notre Dame went over to Atlanta a couple of picks after we picked Dylan Gabriel, and he had a fantastic rookie campaign. I think he had 5 interceptions. He took one on back for a touchdown.
You can get a Hall of Famer in the third round. Shit.
Yeah, you can get. I mean, you can get Hall of Famers in pretty much any round. And it was just mind boggling to me. You know, I know this is water under the bridge, and the coach is gone. I don't know what kind of relationship Stefanski had with Dylan Gabriel, but I'm really thinking that perhaps maybe he needs to go down to Atlanta. Maybe they already got 2 left-hand quarterbacks. Go ahead and make it 3 left-hand quarterbacks. They must love the left-hand quarterback in Atlanta, going back to Michael Vick. And now they got your boy Ty Valoga. They got Michael Penix. Michael Penix. They said, hey, somebody said send Dylan Gabriel to Tampa Bay. Kathy said send him to Tampa Bay. Paul said maybe Atlanta reunites him with the old coach. And I'm thinking that might be the best bet. But, I mean, he's not going to touch the field there either. So,
no.
I don't know, man. Real talk, man. I just think that Dylan Gabriel, you don't need number 8, bro. I mean, Verse is the guy that's looking like he's coming to bring a lot of energy to that defense. He's not Myles Garrett. He said he's not even trying to be Myles Garrett. He's trying to be Jared Verse. He's trying to be the first one-on-one. And I think he comes with this different kind of swagger. He's coming from a good winning organization with the Rams, so he know how to win. Been a 2-time Pro Bowler. The only thing that we got an advantage in that trade is the fact that we brought winners into the locker room. Myles Garrett, love him to death, but Myles Garrett don't know how to win. I know people like, what you talking about? He doesn't know how to win. You know what I mean? So like he got 1 playoff win in 8 years. That's not a winning coach. You had 6 losing seasons. He can go and have 5 sacks, and I'm gonna go back. He had 5 sacks against New England Patriots, and we lost 32-13.
Yeah, but Jody, that's not on Myles Garrett. That's on the overall team. I mean, like we talk about all the time, a defensive end can only do so much. If you ain't got no quarterback, the defensive end can break the record for sacks in one game and still lose. You got to get some help on that other end.
Hey, he said, Mike, who? Paul said that. And then Kathy said, Jody, don't talk about us lefties. I will get mine. I get it. I'm just saying that would be 3 left-hand quarterbacks. I called him Michael Penis. Michael Penix Jr.
Hey, Jody, I'm a part-time lefty. You know what I mean when I say a part-time lefty?
What's that?
I write left-handed and I eat left-handed, right? But when I play sports, I throw right-handed. You know why? You know how these things happen, Jody?
How's that?
This is what happens when you don't have a father in your life.
Yo,
you confuse, and you don't know what you're supposed to be doing.
Hey, speaking of that, man, I happen to, and I'm gonna get back to our NFL stuff, but I gotta say this. This ain't got nothing to do with sports. But I was, I'm like, oh, so man, I watched the new Saw movie, Saw 10. It came out like 3 years ago, and I actually watched it because I'm like, man, that was pretty good. That was a good little plot twist or whatnot. So I'm like, you know what? I want to watch the other Saws. So I go back on Tubi and I type in Saw, and guess what came up? Slaw.
What was going on in Slaw? What was going on in that, bro?
Bruh, it was 2 brothers. It was supposed to be like a comedy horror spinoff of Saw, and they was killing people using their mom's coleslaw recipe.
You bullshit, Tony.
No, I swear to God, I put on my mama. I'm gonna put it in the comments. I swear to God, once the show is over, go back and check in the comments. I'm gonna put it on there. No joke. They said they were killing their victims using their mother's coleslaw recipe.
Well, hey, did the coleslaw recipe have some Ajax in it, some salmonella? What was going on? What was the recipe?
Bruh, I didn't watch it, and I literally looked it up last night, and I swear to God, I'm dead ass serious. I was looking up Saw, and they brought me Slaw.
I'm about to write that down. I'm looking that shit up when we get off the show.
Hey, I'm dead. Hey, if anybody out there that go out there and check Slaw. Paul says Saw is the best horror franchise, and they are. But I want you to go look up on Tubi and type in you looking for Saw. I bet you'll see Slaw. It came out in 2017. It came out. I'm dead at.
Did you watch the whole movie? Did you watch the whole thing?
I did. I couldn't take it, man. I couldn't pause. I couldn't take it. But Speaking of this, going back to our NFL's portion, once again, our show is brought to you by our sponsor, Michael Wright, attorney at law. If you got any wrongful deaths, any workman's comp, anything legal in the 50 states, you can call Mike. Just said, call Mike. That's his mantra at 937-222-7477. Hey, so
yes, sir.
I got a big time question. What quarterback has the most to prove this season? The most to prove this season. So let's go.
You're not gonna like this, Jody. I'm gonna go Dak Prescott for the Dallas Cowboys. Every year he has to prove himself over and over again. No one cares about what he did last year. They gonna want him to repeat that. So I'm gonna go Dak Prescott for the Dallas Cowboys.
You're not gonna like this either, are you?
I know what you're gonna say.
Josh fucking Allen. I mean, what else? Josh Allen has, and I listen, I like Josh Allen. And people gonna be like, well, no, you don't, Jody. I said, no, it's the fact that I'm gonna praise him and criticize him depending on what he does. And Josh Allen is a fantastic quarterback. This guy, I told you, he reminds me of John Elway in the 80s, how he carried the Denver Broncos to 3 Super Bowls. Josh Allen is doing all he can do with that roster. I think they really need to put some more emphasis on Cook, because Cook is a premier running back. He knows how to find the end zone. Defensively, they really haven't gotten it right on the other side of the ball. They don't have their Bruce Smith on the other side of the ball. They don't have, if you really look at the Buffalo Bill defense, you don't see a star like back in the day, Cornelius Bennett, Bruce Smith, guys like that. They don't really have that. But Josh Allen has to take some responsibility for some stuff. And I know it's hard for him to take that type of responsibility when he puts up so many fantastic games. And we've seen him single-handedly beat the Baltimore Ravens in game 1 in that comeback. But I think Josh Allen, at some point, he has to at least get to the Super Bowl. And I ain't saying he got to go win it, but he at least got to get there. Who else you got?
Jody, I think Buffalo Bills, they're kind of like the Chicago Cubs of the NFL. They're lovable losers. People feel sorry for Buffalo. They want them to win. So I don't think it's much pressure on Buffalo winning the Super Bowl, even though they do have an elite level quarterback. Because they're Buffalo, no one really expects them to win. Honestly, it would be a miracle if they got to a fucking Super Bowl. So I think that I don't think it's as much pressure on Josh Allen as some of these other quarterbacks in other markets. This is my opinion.
I think Josh Allen has pressure on him. I don't think the Bills have pressure on them, because we know the Bills have made it to 4 Super Bowls and not have won any, and all their players still got into the Hall of Fame. It was like, it didn't matter. You know, they all, Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, Andre Reed, Bruce Smith, all those guys got into the Hall of Fame off of, not that Bruce Smith would have had a problem getting into the Hall of Fame, but those other guys needed that help, because Jim Kelly, if you look at his numbers compared to all the other quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame, are kind of pedestrian. And I like Jim Kelly, but compared to Hall of Fame quarterbacks, his numbers are equal or below those Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Thurman Thomas, I love Thurman Thomas, but Thurman Thomas he had 65 rushing touchdowns for his career. We got guys that got, Sean Alexander got over 100.
Yeah, but they're getting credit for a lot of these guys were in the Hall. Not that they weren't good players. I think Buffalo Bills players in there because they went to so many fucking Super Bowls.
That's my point that I'll give you. My point is they got help by going to 4 different Super Bowls. On top of that, they went to I think 2 other, because I think they lost to the Cleveland Browns, and I think it was 87. They lost to the Cleveland Browns in a lot of the second round of the playoffs. Because I remember Don Devey hit his head. Remember Felix Wright hitting? That was, the Browns won that game. So they had a lot of playoff consistency and playoff wins. But the thing, what I'm trying to say, there go my man King Minks in the building. He said, "What's good to everybody on this happy Sunday?" I think that if Thurman Thomas had played for the Arizona Cardinals with the same numbers, Thurman Thomas wouldn't be a Hall of Famer. Andre Reed wouldn't be a Hall of Famer if he played for the Jets, because Andre Reed is good, but Andre Reed had a lot of pedestrian years that was not as good as some of these other wide receivers during his time, but he played for a better team. Herman Moore's numbers killed Andre Reed's numbers for those.
Only one of those guys, Jody, like you, I agree with you 1,000%. Bruce Smith is the only one of those guys that really, really deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I mean,
200 sacks. You know what I'm saying? Lead the NFL. He was putting a lot of sacks in people's faces.
Sacks matter, baby.
Yo, he was putting a lot of sacks in a lot of people's faces, man. I'm just keeping it real, man. I'm just calling it how it is. But on the real, that's a topic that don't nobody really want to talk about except for against the grain sports. A lot of these guys benefited from playing and going to 4 different Super Bowls. And that's why I say Josh Allen has a tremendous amount of pressure, and he has to prove something at some point. You can't keep coming in every year. You can't change the coach every year. You can't change the offensive coordinator every year. You can't change the defense player. They went and got Von Miller. That didn't work. They went and got Bosa. That didn't work. You can't keep going and get these different players because at some point the levee is going to break if you don't actually get over that hump. So,
yeah. Another quarterback. I feel like I'm attacking the brothers today. I'm going to go Jalen Hurts. There's a lot of pressure on him also this year.
Why? He already got a Super Bowl.
I'm with you, but you know how these Philly fans are. They got AJ Brown's not there anymore. Now he's got to prove over again. Who's going to be your number one? Can you get this team back to a playoffs? Can you get them back to a Super Bowl? So I'm going to say there's going to be pressure on Jalen Hurts as well this year.
I got to go against the grain, and I understand what you're saying, but this guy has already been proven. And it's like with Philly, it's like you win a Super Bowl, but now what have you done for me lately type shit. I'm like, you won your fucking Super Bowl. You know how hard it is?
They don't care about that shit. They want another one.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying, I mean, I would be content if my team went and got a Super Bowl. But we think logically, but we all know some of these fanatics. I mean, we're smart fanatics. We love the sports as well, but we think logically, and some of these fan bases don't think like that.
I got my next quarterback on my list is Justin Herbert.
Oh, that's a great one. That's a good one.
Listen, man, I don't know what he has done to be considered as a top 10 quarterback in this league. I mean, does he? I told you, and I said this years ago, if you look up quarterback on what a quarterback should look like, how he should throw, how his mobility in the pocket is, you will probably find Justin Herbert's picture. He looks like a quarterback. He can make every throw on the field. But it has not translated over into victories. It translated over to a lot of commercials because he's starting to get a lot of commercials now. It's getting a few regular season victories. But what has Justin Herbert? He hasn't won the division yet as a starting quarterback. He hasn't won the division. I think he has 1 playoff win to his name, I believe. He has 1.
Yep.
He got 1 playoff win. You got new coaches. You done had 3 different coaches that have all been – he was there with Anthony Lynn. Anthony Lynn was a good coach. I don't know about the last coach. I was really not a fan of Staley. I was not a fan of him. But now you got Harbaugh. You got offensive line help. They done drafted wide receivers. They done drafted position players for you. You done had defensive players. When is it that Justin Herbert is going to actually step into the limelight and say, look, I'm earning my respect as a top 10 quarterback?
I agree. I like that pick, Jody. I got another one for you. I'm gonna get off the brothers this time. I'm gonna go Sunshine down there in Jacksonville. I mean, he's another guy that hasn't lived up to his hype. Like you said, coming out of Clemson, everyone said this guy's gonna be the next John Elway, the next this, the next that, and he has not won 1 playoff game. I mean, he has some really good regular season.
He got 1 playoff game.
No, he don't.
He beat the Chargers.
You know what? He did beat the Chargers. But you know what? Have the Chargers won a playoff game?
Yeah, they beat he might not. I thought they won 1.
They lost to Houston, I know, a couple of times.
I thought the Chargers, maybe the Chargers are the one that don't have a playoff game.
Jody, I think it might be the Chargers that ain't won no damn playoff game.
Yeah, it might be the Chargers. And I know Sunshine.
But you're right, Trevor Lawrence, they were down by like 4 scores in that 7 years. They were down 4 scores or something in that game. And actually came back and won that. So I'm going Sunshine. He's got a lot to prove this year.
I can agree with that. They had a bounce back year last year, winning the division and having they had an opportunity to beat the Buffalo Bills at home. My man Paul said that Herbert is the most overrated and coddled quarterback in the NFL. He said Sunshine's another good one, good segment. Now, as much as I love this brother, if Lamar Jackson don't fucking win something, nigga, you are too damn talented. You got Derrick Henry. You got another potential MVP on your roster. They done did every. Listen, man, I love Lamar Jackson, but this is where I gotta keep it real, bro. And then this is why how y'all can know this ain't about race with me, because I'm about to go in on my brother Lamar Jackson. They have drafted the receiver in the 1st round for you more times than any other quarterback in franchise history. They went and got you Flowers. They went and got you Bateman. They got you a good tight end. They went and got Mark Andrews. They had got Likely before he went over to the Giants.
A good tight end, Jody.
You can't go wrong with a good
tight end. Okay.
Nice firm tight end. They went and got you players on the defensive side of the ball. They went and got you Cal Hamilton. They went and spent money in the offseason and got you Roquan Smith so he can man the defense. Bruh, they hung on the coaches. They changed offensive coordinators. Lamar Jackson is the ultimate. My nephew said it, he is the ultimate James Harden of the regular season. He's fantastic. But Lamar Jackson might actually move a little higher on my list on what he has to prove, because MVPs don't mean nothing. You already got your 2 MVPs. You should have 3, but you got your 2 MVPs, bro.
Yeah.
Now you have to win. You can't say, well, Patrick Mahomes is in my way, Josh Allen. To be the best, you have to fucking beat the best. Lamar Jackson, you on the motherfucking clock. So I don't want to hear nobody say, well, this show, they just be calling black quarterback. No, the fuck we don't.
No, we don't. We keep it real on this show, bro.
Hey, he definitely is on the clock. Paul said JC, the black delegation cuddles him like other dude, Justin Herbert, talking about Lamar Jackson. He said a firm tight end as well. Hey, Paul, you got to have that nice and firm tight end. It never goes wrong. So that's my other quarterback. Who else you got?
I'm going to go the quarterback that got a new home. I'm going to go Kyler Murray. I mean, he's upgraded everything. He's playing in Minnesota. He got better coaching, better defense, better weapons on offense. So I think it's a lot of pressure on Kyler Murray to get things. I don't know if he cares, because people saying that Kyler Murray don't care about football. All he cares about playing video games. I don't know if that's 100% true. That's what they like to say about this kid. But I'm gonna go Kyler Murray and the Minnesota Vikings to have hopefully a bounce back season this year.
Okay, 2-time Pro Bowler. I got one for you. Let's stay in the same division. Jared Goff. I think Jared Goff is a very, very good quarterback. I think we always try to put this great or superb. I think we throw around these verbs and these adjectives for certain players that are unwarranted. I think he's a solid quarterback in this day and age. I think he's one of the best play action quarterbacks since Eli Manning. He's really good. Now you lose one of your 1-2 punches at running back. Now they do bring in a running back, Pacheco from Kansas City, to team up with him. But I think that you got and the reason why I say these quarterbacks have a lot to prove, because every quarterback that I've named, they have put things around you. I don't want to put quarterbacks on here that didn't have anything around them, and they're still like, that's why I would not put a Shedeur Sanders or anything on this list, or plus he's too young. But I don't put players on this list that the organization has not put a lot behind them. So I just want to make sure everybody understand how I'm doing this list. But if you go look at what he's done, he has one of the best offensive lines in football. They drafted extremely well. They got him great position players. They got Amon-Ra St. Brown. They paid him big time dollars. They went and got Williamson in the first round. They got him healthy. That's one of the best combos in the league. You got to get a tight end. Defensively, they have drafted well on the defense side of the ball. Of course, they got the amazing running back in Gibbs to take the pressure off of him. And y'all didn't even make the playoffs last year. So I think that going 9-8 for a team that was just in the NFC Championship game, a couple plays away from going to the Super Bowl and potentially winning.
Yeah.
Yes, Jared Goff, to me, perhaps they may be looking for his replacement in Detroit.
I agree.
Your boy King Mink said Tua for the Falcons. Kathy said you may remember Jim Everett. Jim Everett, when he played for the Rams, had no quarterback coach for 3 years. He had to help the offensive coach and could care less about him. He did have 2 awesome wide receivers in Henry Ellard and Willie Flipper Anderson. But yeah, you're right about Jim Everett. I like Jim Everett. Jim Everett was a guy that just never got his flowers when he played. He never did. Jim Everett.
Jim Everett, you know what, Joe? He kind of reminded me of Drew Bledsoe for some reason. Really good quarterback. It just could never really, to me, those 2 players kind of similar in their games.
I think what happened was he got there. If he would have got a chance to play with Eric Dickerson, I think Jim Everett would have had a different career. He got there. Remember, Eric Dickerson got traded to the Indianapolis Colts right before Jim Everett took over as a starting quarterback. I think if Jim Everett would have had Eric Dickerson, Henry Ellard, and Flipper Anderson, they might have beat the 49ers at some point. But the 49ers was beating the shit out of them. Like
So you're saying Jim Everett didn't get to play with the dick? If he'd got to play with the dick, then maybe his career could have been different.
he could have shot off. If he would have played with the dick, his career could have shot off.
Hey, Joe, I got a controversial pick for you. This quarterbacks that need to show up this year. You're not going to like this. I'm going to go Bryce Young for the Carolina Panthers. Listen, hear me out. I know he's a young quarterback. They've already said they're not going to extend this guy's contract. So they've been drafting well the last 2 to 3 years. They've been drafting wide receivers. Their offensive line is solid. Defense has gotten much better. It's a big year for Bryce Young. He's the number 1 overall pick a few years ago, and this is a big year for him. I'm gonna go Bryce Young.
Okay, you know why I pushed back. He just took.
I know.
They just won the division. They had a home playoff game, and they were a couple plays away from getting to the second round of the playoffs against the mighty Rams. I think he had lost his running back that they had got from Texas. Remember, I don't think he may not even play.
No, he's not even playing anymore.
I don't think he'll ever play a game again. That was a pick that they were really high on. They end up getting the wide receiver and Jalen Coulter. I was really high on him. He got hurt. The defense, Derek Brown was hurt. He came back last year, had a fantastic year. I see what you're saying. I don't know. It's a little premature for me. I didn't want to put these young guys that still are in their first contract on the list and say they got something to prove.
But look what they did to the other guys, Joe. They didn't have any winning. The guys we talked about, Justin Herbert and Sunshine, they didn't win shit, and they still got contract extensions before they did anything in the league. But now they're saying they don't want to give this kid this contract extension. We'll see.
The reason why they don't want to give him is because the numbers is not going to match up to the productivity. The numbers that he's gonna. You can't make the market go down. You're going to make the market go up, and I don't think he's worth $60 million. And he know he's not worth $60 million, $65 million, and that's what the market demands. That's the reason why they don't want to give him an extension. They're going to try to lowball him, which I don't disagree. That he's not an elite quarterback. He's not elite. So do
we care about eliteness, or do we care about winning? Because those other guys we saying they're elite, but they ain't won shit.
Yeah, but he ain't won.
You know what I'm saying? Well, I know they're kind of in the same boat as far as I'm concerned.
Paul says Soul called Carolina winning the division one of the best takes from last. He did. He called it from day one. Kathy said the Browns star Watson. He definitely needs to prove he can still play. I was gonna put him on the list. I ain't putting that nigga on this list.
Who's that?
Sean Watson. He need to prove that he can not get a massage.
Like, I think he's gonna be y'all starter this year.
If he is, listen, whoever's the starter, I'm behind. Pause. I'm behind 100.
Well, you were talking about pushing in Charles Oakley's shit earlier. We're gonna have to get that a clip. I'm gonna push his shit in. Whoa.
Yo, sometimes you got to. Now this right here, this is gonna be a very controversial pick of a player I truly believe needs to perform, needs to prove. He's living off of his past accomplishments, and his name is Joe Burrow. I know people be like, you be going in on Joe Burrow. No, I'm not. I'm just keeping it all over. This guy has not made the playoffs in 3 years. How can you be considered an elite quarterback that has not made the playoffs in 3 years? So,
yeah,
you got in every year that you have played, you have had an elite wide receiver with you. Your rookie year, you had T. Higgins. You had T. Higgins and Jamar Chase pretty much your whole career. You had a very good running back every year. You had Joe Mixon to Chase Brown. Both of those guys are 1,000-yard running backs. Offensive line is questionable, but y'all made adjustments on that offensive line by signing Orlando Brown Jr., who came in, was supposed to be solidifying that line. Y'all drafted on that offensive line. Y'all just haven't developed well on that offensive line. At what point do we start saying that Joe Burrow has to win? They like, well, we went to the Super Bowl his second year. Yeah, we're in year 6. We're going in year 7. And how can you be considered as an elite quarterback and you can't make the playoffs in 3 years? Well, he's been hurt. Man, bail out the truck. Have you seen dude on Facebook? He was like, he said I couldn't be no football head coach. He said, as soon as you told me you couldn't get a first down, I'll call Big Terry. Shout out to Quan, man. Quan is a fool on TikTok. You ain't follow him on TikTok. He's hilarious. But at what point, do we start criticizing the Joe Burrow? The reason why we don't criticize Joe Burrow is because he has a great personality. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's 100% correct. But the real NFL fans are going to criticize this guy. But on the outside, people, those they don't really like the game, don't really know much about football. They're not going to criticize him because, like you say, he's got the look of a quarterback, and when he plays well. But we all know the people that really know the game. Yeah, this dude's great, but he misses a lot of fucking games. He's going to have to go out there and prove to the real NFL fans that he can get it done at that level. Get back to that championship game. Whether he gets to a Super Bowl or not, make a deep playoff push and play 17 games, at least 15 games. You know what I mean? Close to that and get to the playoffs and win a couple of playoff games. And I think that people get off his back. Whether he gets back to a Super Bowl or not, but at least make a playoff push.
And see, this is the reason, because it's a difference between Joe Burrow and Dak Prescott. And I'm going to tell you why. If Dak Prescott was a starting quarterback and he don't even miss as many games as Joe Burrow, but he's considered as injury prone. If you go look at it, he does not miss as many games as Joe Burrow, but they say he's more injury prone, and let's get rid of him in Dallas, and he needs a new home. But he's been in the playoffs in the last 3 years.
Yeah, but difference in between Dak and Joe Burrow, it seems like when Dak gets hurt, it's a terrible injury. Like when he snapped his leg and then went out, I think he tore his hamstring or something like that. His injuries are like, okay, the season's over. It's not like, oh, I'll be back in week 12. It seems like when Dak does get hurt, it's bad.
But he only got hurt 2 seasons, and he's played longer than Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's been at least 6 years, and 3 of them he's been on IR.
But the pressure on the Dallas quarterback does not compare to the pressure on the Bengals quarterback. Those two things just gonna compare. I don't think it's fair, but I think it's just the different level of pressure on these different expectations for these franchises.
Well, Kathy said Joe Burrow needs to play a whole season without injury, and that's what I think. Not only is the casual fan, the Bengal fans and the NFL would like to see, because I mean the guy is a bona fide superstar.
Yeah, he's a star. Yeah.
If I rank my quarterbacks, he's definitely going to always be in my top 3, even with his injuries. That's how good he is. But at some point, we can't keep coddling these particular quarterbacks and living off of what they could be, and we got to start looking at what they are. And it's like you want Dak Prescott to get a new home, even though Dak Prescott led the leading touchdown passes one time. He led the leading yards, or close to leading yards. He was a MVP candidate for a large, even this past year, he was an MVP candidate up until they didn't make the playoffs. So, people were talking about how good, but when it's Joe Burrow missing the playoffs, it's always somebody else's fault. The defense didn't play well. But I'll throw a stat out here, and I don't think nobody has ever put this stat together. There's no quarterback in NFL history that had more pick sixes longer than 84 yards than Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow has 3 pick sixes, one of 84 yards against the Ravens just last year, one of 97 yards by Bush from Cleveland just last year, and then he had another one for 99 yards by Denzel Ward from Cleveland just a few years ago. He's only in his 6th year. He already got 3 pick sixes taken back for 84 yards plus.
Yeah, but that one playoff run that he did make a few years ago, second or third year, whenever that was, that pretty much trumps anything that Dak Prescott has done in the playoffs. He hasn't done anything in the playoffs, so you got to say that you got to give him credit for that.
Okay, and I'm gonna give Joe. Like I said, I'm a fan of Joe.
Yeah, I know.
Let's flip it. Brock Purdy has as many playoff wins as Joe Burrow. He's played in less seasons than Joe Burrow. He's been to a Super Bowl, and when he left the game, had the lead in that Super Bowl. Ended up losing the game to, of course, Kansas City. But when he left the game in overtime, he had a chance to be a Super Bowl winning quarterback. So talk to me about that. Why is it that Brock Purdy has as much success as Joe Burrow, but yet and still he's never put in the same mention as Joe Burrow?
Talent-wise, Brock Purdy, your guy, can't hold Joe Burrow's jockstrap. He's not on the same level when it comes to talent. A lot of people don't think that your boy Brock Purdy's that good. They think he's in a perfect system that fits him. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people think Joe Burrow can be a great quarterback no matter where he goes. He just needs to stay healthy. That's the biggest thing about him. But a lot of people think if Brock Purdy went to another team and played for another coach, he wouldn't be having the success that he has right now.
And I agree with that, but that's some of the stupidest logic I've ever heard.
Why is that stupid, Joe? Tell me why you think that's stupid, bro.
I'm gonna say a stupid lie, and I'm not saying from you.
Yeah.
I'm not even saying it for anybody.
That's okay. It's okay if you disagree with me. It's all good.
No, I'm disagreeing with you but you said that the logic is, well, guess what? If I had 2 left feet, I'm gonna walk the other way. but I don't. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We got to talk about what reality is. Why do somebody got to be traded to another team to prove that this nigga is really good or not? Like you GMs have a job to do, coaches have a job to do, owners have a job to do, and guess what their job is to do? Is to get the talent on their team that fits whatever scheme or system that they run for them to be successful to win games. So why is it when actual motherfuckers do it, now you saying, well, what if you put this guy in the system? Well, guess what? We don't have to worry about that shit because we got this guy in the system and he's being successful in it.
Well, okay, so we'll see what Brock Purdy does in the next couple of years because he had him a couple of good seasons, but we'll see. Now that he's the man, he's getting paid all the money. We're going to revisit this in the next couple of years when the 49ers don't do shit.
But he already won a playoff game just
no.
year.
If we're going to talk shit about Joe Burrow, we're going to give Brock Purdy that same energy if he doesn't succeed and get this team back to the playoffs and back to another Super Bowl. Am I right?
But what do you mean? Like, he's been to the playoffs in the last 3 years.
So has Joe Burrow, but we're giving him smoke.
No, Joe Burrow has not been to the playoffs in the last 3 years. That's facts.
They're both Super Bowl losers.
Okay. But who
led the Bengals? Damn, I'm bigging up Joe Burrow. Who led the Bengals to the Super Bowl that year? That would be Joe Burrow, wasn't it?
Joe Burrow. Yeah.
But when Brock Purdy got to the Super Bowl, people was talking about who?
They were talking about
that running game and that defense.
I'm not saying
he was along for the ride.
Everything but Brock Purdy. But that's the whole point. So we can revisit it. Absolutely, we can revisit it. But right now, Joe Burrow has a year on Brock Purdy. He's been in the league a year longer than Brock Purdy, and they got the same amount of playoff wins, the same amount of Super Bowl appearances.
Yeah, I agree. But but no one's gonna, if they're gonna pick quarterbacks, no one's gonna pick Brock Purdy over.
They not. But that's what we hear on that's why we hear on Against the Grain Sports to put shit in perspective.
But no one on this show is gonna do that either.
I just did. So
if you're picking quarterbacks right now, you're gonna pick Brock Purdy over Joe Burrow.
Hell no.
That's nigga. Wait a minute, did Jody admit that I'm right?
No, Joe. No, But once again, if I pick my quarterbacks, of course, Joe Burrow. I just told you, Joe Burrow's gonna be in my top 3. Talent-wise, Joe Burrow is probably no quarterback in the NFL more talented except for my son Patrick Mahomes. But there's nobody more talented than Joe Burrow except for Patrick Mahomes.
Where's Brock Purdy on your list of quarterbacks, brother? Is he top 15?
Absolutely. Yes.
Is he better than Jalen Hurts?
No. But I got Jalen Hurts extremely high on my list. People don't have Jalen Hurts as high on their list as I do. The guy is phenomenal, and I think he's going to play even better that AJ Brown's out of town because he ain't got to worry about forcing the ball or hear this motherfucker every 5 minutes talking about throw me the ball. And you're not even mad because of football, nigga. You mad because this nigga didn't step up for you because your side chick was getting slaughtered by your teammate. That's what you're mad about. They said, really enjoying this football segment. Kathy said, Dak Prescott needs to do something because it seems like he's falling apart in the playoffs. That's my opinion. They said, good analysis is top tier. Paul said, Ryan Tannehill is the MVP of the Cincinnati playoff. The Titans defense demolished that division game, but the 3 picks killed us. Yeah, that was very true. And then they said, this show is never disappointing. I hope we're not. But before we move on to the next topic, so it's like, we're looking at resumes of quarterbacks and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I'm not, like I said, I'm not banging on Joe Burrows. I'm not, but if I went with my top 10 right now, I think right now, going into the season is going to be a different top 10 than my top 10 quarterbacks. Is that fair?
Yeah, I agree.
Because going into the season, Matthew Stafford is hands down the best quarterback in the NFL right now. I mean, is you got Matthew Stafford, and I believe you probably got Josh Allen right there with him. Lamar Jackson is right there with him, and then Joe Burrow. I say that would be like my top 4 coming into this season. But if we're talking about just overall now body of work, my top 10 quarterbacks right now, I mean, I got Patrick Mahomes at number 1. I mean, 1 year getting hurt is not saying, because he played phenomenal even though they wasn't winning games.
Yeah,
I would still have Patrick Mahomes at 1. I would probably go Lamar Jackson at 2 and Joe Burrow at 3, Josh Allen at 4. And then that's where I would flirt with having Jalen Hurts at 5.
I think that Patty Mahomes is going to be a very dangerous quarterback this year because he has that. I know he's light skinned, but he don't have a dark skinned brother mentality. He thinks like a dark skinned brother. He's got that Jordan about him. He's like, you know what? These motherfuckers, Jordan would make up shit to motivate him. And I
Yeah.
think Mahomes is thinking that. He's thinking, these motherfuckers forgot how great I am. I tore my ACL. I got a new contract. I don't care about that shit. I'm going to go out there and show these motherfuckers who I am. And I'm pretty sure he's already thinking that he's going to be back for week 1. He ain't sitting out to Halloween, none of that bullshit. I almost 100% tell you that Patrick Mahomes is going to be back week 1 to playing like he ain't never won shit. Playing like he's trying to make the roster, because that's what the great ones do. And I expect great season out of Patty Mahomes this year.
I'm gonna go slightly against the grain. I think Patrick Mahomes come back in week 4. I think he gets completely. I think they're gonna save him from himself. He's probably ready to be back week 1, but I think they're gonna save him for himself. And they want to see what your boy can do. What's my guy from Ohio State?
Who's a back? Oh yeah. I'm not talking about. Yeah.
They want to see what he can do, perhaps, so they can, if he plays well, that they can package him and perhaps get him to another team and get some draft picks. What's his fucking name? He an Ohio State guy. Can't fucking remember his name. That's how sad this guy film.
I forgot his name too, Joey. I ain't gonna lie, bro.
I'm just thinking too quick. That's crazy. I ain't never forgot a guy's name like that. But Paul said that he said Hurts is a top 10 running back. See that Paul.
See, Paul must forgot who his quarterback is. He might want to just worry about his quarterback, Cam Ward, trying to stay healthy this year, and hopefully the offensive line can block for his ass, because he be running too.
For his goddamn life. We got Ashley in the building, Light Bright in the building. She said hello to the Against the Grain Sports crew. Appreciate you coming in, brightening up the day as you always do on the show. Justin Fields. Shit.
Justin Fields.
But yeah, that
he's the top 10 running back too sometimes.
Man, y'all crazy for that. But yeah, real quick, man, before we go on, I got another question for you. What team will disappoint you this season?
Ooh. You mean a team that expectations are high?
Yeah. What team is just even any team out of 32 teams? What you think? What team is going to disappoint you this year?
I'm gonna say, I think the Eagles are going to have a bad season this year, Jody. I got this feeling that they've had some good runs over the years, but I think the Eagles might end up being 3rd place in the NFC East this year. I'm gonna go the Eagles. Okay,
Kathy said, remember Michael Jordan couldn't get past Larry Bird until he retired. No. Let me clear something up before I get to my take. Larry Bird didn't retire until 1992. Can we stop with Jordan didn't get past Bird? Can we stop with that? Just because he didn't beat him in the playoffs, Larry Bird didn't retire until 1991 or 92, I believe, because he played on the 1992 Dream Team, and he hadn't retired yet. Michael Jordan won his first championship, I believe, in 1991.
Bro, not only that, Jordan didn't have the help in the early years. They did not win because Jordan wasn't a good player. I mean, those Detroit and Celtics teams were just better than those young Bulls teams, just period.
I just don't like how people say that Jordan didn't get past Bird because he didn't play him in the finals. Evidently, he didn't have to play him. With Detroit, they're like, well, he playoffs and he beat him. But Jordan did beat Larry Bird. Larry Bird, last time I checked, was still in the league when Michael Jordan started winning his championships. Am I right?
I guess you're saying that they didn't beat them in the playoffs, but the Celtics were in their prime when Jordan got into the league.
Right.
Jordan was just trying to figure out the league and didn't have no talent around him. Who was his best player? Jody got there. Was it Orlando Woolridge or something like that?
Him and Dave Corsine. But so young Chris get on here. He said Jordan ain't never beat Bird in the playoffs. He didn't have to beat him.
He didn't.
Larry Bird was still in the league when Jordan started winning his championships, and Larry Bird was in his prime his whole career. We can't say that Larry Bird never had a prime. Go look at Larry Bird's numbers from start to finish. He was in his prime his whole career because he only played 12 years. It ain't like. So my thing is, I'm tired of people saying that Jordan didn't get past Bird when Bird was in his prime and he still won a championship. Before Larry, since everybody want to be historians of the game, go look up, was Larry Bird still in the league when Michael Jordan started winning championships?
Yeah, he was because he was on that dream team.
Yeah. So Jordan had already won. He was going on in second by then.
Yeah.
Chris said, hold that same grace with LeBron, how bad his teams were when the Cavs were in the. What LeBron got to do?
But Jody, it always goes back to LeBron versus Jordan. This bullshit conversation, I hate it.
I never even said nothing about LeBron.
You don't have to. When you bring up Jordan, and Jordan, you know how many times we talked on this show, brother? We've saying we end up shitting on one player to big up the next player. We don't have to do that. I mean, they were both all-time greats. It doesn't matter how they did it. They both got it done.
But Jordan, what I was saying had nothing even to do with LeBron.
Jody, don't fall for the cheese and the rat trap, brother.
I'm not.
We're gonna go down that rabbit hole. We're gonna be talking about this shit, man.
Yeah, I got to give my take on the disappointment. Chris said the Eagles won't win 10 games this year. Now, is that a fan talking, or is that because you're a Commander fan? He said the Rams. He said the Rams. That might be a little far fetched, but I get it. And then Caddy said he was. He said he wasn't there. He said, "Here comes the Michael Jordan excuses." Excuses for what? I'm confused. Like, I just said that Michael Jordan won championships while Larry Bird was still playing. Where is everybody getting this other dialogue from?
Jody, what I tell you, bro.
Let me stay focused.
Just let it go, bro.
Let me stay focused. Kathy thinks the Denver Broncos are going to come back and be disappointing.
I would love to see that guy stand there, coach. I would love to see that.
You're not going to like what I'm about to say.
What's that, bro?
The Bears are going to be disappointing this year.
Oh, okay.
And let me tell you why the Bears are going to be disappointing.
Zesty people are winning championships this year, Joey. Zesty players are winning championships.
Yo, that's crazy.
About to get him a championship, and Caleb going to be zesty and going to be winning championships, man. I'm telling you, bro. It's the year of the zesty.
This is why, listen, man, as much success as the Bears had last year, how many of them games was by one score or last second drives that they had to win? You cannot sustain that. You cannot sustain that year in and year out. You can't live on it. Only team that was able to live on the edge like that was the Kansas City Chiefs. And you see it finally, the levee finally broke. No respect to New Orleans, but that finally broke. So when Kansas City couldn't keep doing that last year, they couldn't keep winning those close games because guess what? They did not have the talent or the players in right positions. Pause. You want to put them in the right position, but you didn't have that. So I don't think the Bears have upgraded their roster. And then you got to think about they were winning games by very slim margins. They beat a Green Bay Packer team that Jordan Love went out. Remember, he went out in the second quarter. Not saying that the Bears are going to not be good. I just think they're going to be a little disappointed. I think they come back to the pack. I think they only win about 6 or 7 games this year.
Well, Joey, there's some truth to that, but I mean, their season last year reminded me of JD5's rookie year because we had all those miracle victories at the end of the game. That entire season we made a run to the conference championship. So the Bears had that vibe last year. I can see where you're coming from that, but I just think they're built a little bit more for the long run than that Commanders team was. But you could be right about that. Maybe the Zesty guy won't get it done.
Give me another team that you feel like is going to disappoint you.
I'm going to say I know I'm staying in my division. I'm going Dallas Cowboys. Everyone's hyping up the Cowboys because they had an excellent draft. That defense was terrible last year. They upgraded their defense. The offense is going to be the same as last year. We don't know if that's going to happen. That offense might take a step back. So I'm gonna go Dallas Cowboys.
So this one is kind of a scary pick because this goes along with everything I said. I think the Buffalo Bills will kind of disappoint us this year. I think the Bills have been to the mountaintop and have not gotten over that, have not quite got to the top of Mount Rushmore or whatever, the Kalamazoo, whatever those damn mountains are. They haven't quite got there. Josh Allen, new coach. We know that there's not a lot of success for rookie coaches going to the Super Bowl or actually winning the Super Bowl or actually having a lot of success with rookie coaches. And they have a rookie coach that have never coached a down in the NFL. He's been an offensive coordinator there. And also he was an offensive coordinator for the LSU Tigers and Joe Brady. Outstanding offensive mind. But it's another side of the football that he has to worry about. That's the problem. It wasn't the offense. It was the defense giving up 30 points a game when you scoring 30 points. So I think the Buffalo Bills may be a team that perhaps can disappoint this year because I just think Josh Allen magic cannot happen. Once again, you just cannot sustain game in and game out, game in and game out. We need Josh Allen to throw for 250 yards, 3 touchdowns, rush for another touchdown, and rush for 60 yards. I just don't think you can expect that game in and game out. I think there's too much wear and tear on the body. I say the Buffalo Bills.
Maybe another one, Joe. Maybe the Green Bay Packers. I mean, we don't know what's going on with Josh Jacobs. Is he going to play football this year? He's a lot of off the field issues. They lost some of the wide receivers. They still have a lot of them. So maybe the Green Bay Packers slide back a little bit this year. They didn't make the playoffs last year. I can see them possibly having a disappointing season this year.
Okay. Kathy said the Baltimore Ratbirds. Paul said it's a Madden jinx because Williams is on the front of Madden this year. And then Paul said, please, so Super Bowl bound. We them boys. You talking about the Cowboys. Now, Paul, you can log out at any time.
With that they ain't won a Super. The Cowboys ain't won a Super Bowl since Tupac and Biggie was alive, and that was a long time.
That's extremely true. King Ming said the Jags, and my final team that I think that's going to disappoint is the New England Patriots.
I like that one.
The Patriots, and it has nothing to do with Vrabel, but is there so much going on with Vrabel off the field? Is he going to even be the head coach when all these allegations and stories come to pass? If he has to go through a divorce, if his wife divorces him, or she, let's say this Diana has some more stories that she just ain't told everybody about their relationship. You saw what they did with Udoka with the Boston Celtics in the Boston area, got rid of him. Vrabel is going to be dealing with a lot of personal issues. Can he stay focused on football? You don't have Stephon Diggs, the number one target there last year. You bring in A.J. Brown, who he's there. He's hyping up the team, saying this is the best atmosphere he's ever been in, da-da-da. I think it's going to be those guys. I think that the New England Patriots, I know a lot of people talking about their first place schedule. Now they play the last place schedule. Now they play first place schedule. I don't think that's going to mean as much as people think. I think in this scenario, I just think that Vrabel's situation is going to be a dark cloud over that organization because this is a proud organization. They're proud. They like to cheat, as you can see. They cheat from top. They cheat on their wives. They cheat in the game. They cheat the system. They cheat their players because if you keep it real, a lot of those New England Patriot players from back in the day didn't like how they got compensated financially.
Yeah, that's true.
So the organization as a whole, you can't say nothing about Robert Kraft, and he got just as many massages as Deshaun Watson, but we can't talk about him, but we can talk bad as we want about Deshaun Watson. You can't even talk about him on a roast. Tom Brady was getting talked about his wife cheating on him and leaving him, his kids, everything else, cheating. But when you said something about Robert Kraft, that was what he had to draw the line in the sand. He had to. He checked the shit out of dude. Like, if you say one more thing about my dad, Robert Kraft, he'll have your ass. He'll have your ass.
Whoa.
Pause.
I like that one, Jody, because I tell you what, if the New England don't live up to expectations, they're going to add another camera on the sidelines to see what book A.J. Brown is reading. Now, A.J. Brown, one of them brothers, if they lose him, but if he get his stats, he won't be complaining that much. He gives me that vibe. If I get 10 catches, we lose by 3 scores. Hey, I did my part.
Now, this is a good question. So I picked 2 teams out of the AFC East of the 2. He said, so who win in the AFCs? I still believe that the Buffalo Bills will win the division, but it's going to be like at 9 wins. We used to seeing Buffalo win in 11, 12, and I just don't think they're going to win a game in the playoffs. So I don't think New England's going to be tough for New England to even get to the playoffs, but I think you got to look at what they did last year. So both of these teams, like New England had 13 wins last year, I believe.
Yeah.
And Buffalo had 11 or 12. So that's why I said they're not going to win as many games. So that's what I was saying.
Hey, Joe, you know what I think going to have a good season? You might think I'm stupid for saying this. I think the Jets going to scare some teams this year. I know they haven't done much the last forever, but I can see the Jets maybe making a push for one of those wild card spots in the AFC. I think my guy Aaron Glenn, my cousin, I think we might actually be cousins. He's from Texas. That's not a common last name. But anyway, I'm gonna go Aaron Glenn and the Jets to possibly keep this New York train rolling. We got the Knicks winning the championship and the Jets possibly making the playoff this year, baby. JETS, Jets.
Hey, listen, we're gonna get that because he said it last year about Carolina, so I really don't like disagreeing when he say some shit like that. But I'm about to mute your fucking mic. The Jets, you got a better chance in New York with the Giants winning than the fucking Jets. Kathy said she always talk crap about Robert Kraft's massage parlor. She said Kraft and Watts should open up a massage parlor called Beanies and Wings.
Damn.
Hey, that should do numbers if they did that. But that's what I got for that. And then last one before I get you out of here. I know it's a beautiful Saturday afternoon. I know you want to get out here and enjoy the festivities out here. I think I might go to the air show today. I'm not sure. We had the Dayton Air Show. I might go up there and check that out. And hang out and get some drinks and watch some. I live right next to the Air Force Base, so right past Air Force Base. But college news, and I know the biggest news, we already talked about it, but it's the quarterback from Texas Tech, Brandon Shoresby. I think I'm saying the name right.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's been given an injunction, which gives him the ability to play the last 10 games, or if they go to bowl games, because I guess his trial, it will last for over a year, I believe, whatever it is. Don't know about the legalities of that. We had to call Mike, our sponsor, to get the legalities about that because I don't really know. But I know we talked about this, man, and if their team's talking about they're going to boycott playing the Texas Tech Red Raiders if he's the quarterback. Where was this energy at when Penn State had their situations? Did anybody boycott Penn State playing them? I don't remember.
No, I think these teams are just talking shit because it's boycotting games. I mean, you're obviously going to give the team a victory, and you're going to lose out on money. I don't see teams really doing that. Jody, you know what's crazy about his so-called trial that's supposed to start? I think it starts like 2 weeks after the championship game in college football. They purposely set it to that date. That way this kid can play the entire season. And don't worry about all the extra bullshit because he's a quarterback. I don't like it, but it is what it is.
I don't like that. Like I said, it's different outrage. Like I said, we had a situation where we talking about gambling money, which every time, because ESPN actually has college football games, right? On their network, right? ESPN has a betting app on their network. Mm-hmm. They have betting. Every other cut, every other commercial is DraftKings, FanDuel, Underdog, their own apps for betting, and then you're getting mad that the players are actually betting. It's crazy work to me. Once again, I guess my question on this scenario is, so this quarterback as good as his problems are for Texas Tech?
Well, he's the best option they have at quarterback, and they're thinking the conference is weak this year. So if they get better quarterback play than they had last year, and when they made the playoffs, they think they can win a championship or make a run. Maybe they're thinking they can do what the Miami Hurricanes did last year and go make a run to the championship. They're thinking it's worth the trouble. I think that's what they're thinking. They've already invested money into this kid. It's too late to go out and get another quarterback. They can't make a trade. Not yet in college football. That's probably next, Joe. They will have trades between teams to get certain quarterbacks. But I think they're thinking it's worth it.
I'm kind of perplexed when it comes to this situation because I've seen him play at Cincinnati. I thought he was pretty solid at Cincinnati, but Cincinnati didn't win a lot of games with him as a starting quarterback. And then he also played at Indiana where he didn't really even touch the field. So now he's going to Texas Tech and he's supposed to be the savior down in Texas Tech. Like, I don't even know if they have the position players around him for him to be as successful because they had a very good year last year, but they lost some players, especially on the defense side of the ball. They lost a lot of players to the NFL or to graduation. So I'm thinking, like, what kind of pressure is going to be on this guy to play and to be successful then? Like what kind of – is there going to be any death threats? Because, our fans can be crazy and they can be like, well, we put all this money in your pocket, man. You better go out here and be a Heisman Trophy candidate. What are we looking at in this day and age in college sports?
Oh, it's going to be a lot of pressure on this kid. Because he can throw for 7 touchdowns in game on his first game back, and everyone's going to be talking about the gambling allegations. I mean, we seen this similar, not to this level, but the Cam Newton drama that year, that 1 year he had in Auburn, all the allegations of him being paid money and all these other things, his dad getting paid money from the university, and he fought through all of that, had a great season and won the Heisman and was the #1 pick. Now, this kid don't have that kind of talent. But I'll tell you, with social media, the pressure is going to be on that kid like no other. We'll see what he's built like because they're not going to stop. Well, hold on. They're not going to stop coming after him.
Yo, ain't nothing wrong with coming.
They're not going to stop coming after him, bro. He might as well get ready for that.
But on some realness, man, us being now we're the media. We got 2 million. We got a 1.1 million show and a 2.4 million. So we are part officially of the media, and people gonna have to listen to what we're saying because evidently people have been listening. What's a realistic, successful season for Texas Tech now?
Well, they have to at least do what they did last year, Jody. They're gonna have to make the conference championship game and make one of the 12 teams and possibly win a playoff game. I'm saying that's what they're gonna have to do down there in Lubbock this year.
And the crazy thing, I just don't think they will. I think BYU is the cream of the crop in the Big 12 this season. I think that they bring back their start. Remember, their quarterback was a freshman last year. So he's the second year in this offense. And we know that BYU is well coached. They're a very good coach team. They got some players out there. Those Mormons got so much pent up frustration. They can't do nothing but go play football because they can't nut. You know they can't. I'm serious. They can't. They literally can't mess with a female. So they got a lot of testosterone.
Oh, they're not supposed to. That don't mean they're not doing it.
Yeah, I get it. But I just think that the outrage, going back to what I was saying, there's other things that have happened in college football that we overlook. But we're focusing so much on gambling. And I'm like, is he the only person that gambled on football, or he's just the only person that got caught?
The only person got caught. We've been talking about this, Jody, with the way it's so easy to bet on these games now. You download the app on your phone. You don't have to. It's not like we spotted Brandon Swordsby in a casino. Nah, I just download the app on my phone and play some bets. And like you said, these universities and in college football, ESPN, Fox, they're all sponsored by these gambling apps. So this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to this, man. It's just going to get worse and worse. And now they're letting kids play after getting caught. So where are you drawing the line? Is it okay to do this? Is it not okay? Because if someone else gets caught, which is going to happen probably before the season starts, let's be honest with you, what are they going to say? Are they going to say, well, this kid can't play? Wait a minute, you let this other guy still play. So we're going to see what happens with this. You see how ACA deals with this. They don't deal well with adversity in college sports.
It's a lot of oxymorons going on because this is the same. And I go to ESPN, ABC, CBS, Fox, whoever has a college football game, it's an oxymoron on there where they'll have beer ads, and a lot of these kids ain't over 21. But you got beer ads during the game. Remember I told you about the NBA, they got Hennessy as one of their sponsors. But we got a problem with guys like Derek Coleman, who had an alcohol abuse problem, Vince Baker, Van Baker, that had alcohol abuse problems. We got guys that's getting pulled over for DUIs. Remember Bobby Fields that passed away. I'm not sure if he was intoxicated or not, but
no, I think he was driving fast.
He might have been driving fast. But the point of the matter is, we know how much alcohol has impaired a lot of people. Driving is one of the number one killers in America. Is vehicle homicide. But yet and still, the NBA promotes Hennessy. And the ESPN games and the college football games have sponsors on there for alcoholic beverages and betting apps. But they're supposed to be able to watch it. And I'm a marketing major. I graduated as a marketing major from Central State University. Our job is to imprint and have you. That's why they got jingles, because it's something to remember. That's why we do our sponsor, Michael Wright. Call Mike. That's catchy. That's our job. So these guys are watching these games, the ESPN games. They keep saying, FanDuel, add a friend, win this money. Y'all didn't think that this was going to become a problem?
They don't care, Jody. They think big picture. That's how much money that they're making off of this, Jody, because the game has changed so much, brother. Gone are the days of brothers like us that look forward to these games. We sit down with our beer and popcorn. I don't know if you have beer and popcorn. It's kind of a weird combination. Well, beer and barbecue, whatever the fuck you like. I know you like glizzies. Well, if you like your beer and glizzy, Jody, I know you're a glizzy guy. And watch the entire game. Now they said people are tuning into certain spots of the game because I have a bet on the game. So that's how they drawing in the new fans. That's why we have the apps. So you can watch the game on the go. And I want to know if my numbers are going to hit. So it's all about money. They don't give a shit about these players, because if a player gets caught with us, kick him out of the league. If he has a drinking problem, I don't care. Hennessy's paying us $100 million to run these ads. If he has a drinking problem, that's on him. They don't care about that. They care about money, and that's the only thing that matters a lot of time in these sports.
And that's crazy, but they always saying that it's the safety of these players. And I think, and I'm gonna say this on Against the Grain Sports because we can say what we want. Kathy said he just got called. She said they got Pete Rose, and then King Mee said James Harden need to call Mike since he got arrested.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that more once the develop of the story, because I don't know exactly what happened, because I didn't think it was illegal to have a gun.
I think the gun was illegal. I think, certain guns you can't have. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't have, like, sawed-off shotguns, and you can have guns. It's just certain guns you're not allowed to have, I believe.
I would hope that he has the money to get the right proper permits for the weapons that he's carrying. And I mean, this guy has a $300 $500 million. I think that he probably want to be protected per se, but nevertheless, man, I think that what we're doing with college sports, man, is crazy, man. It's like, okay, we don't like you, we get rid of you. Like you said, we get rid of Ridley. He's kicked out for a whole year for betting. And my thing is, if you get kicked out for that suspension for that 1 year, we know you're not playing. Can they still bet? Can they go back to betting because they're not playing?
I know, right? I'm suspended. I'm technically not in the league right now. I'm gonna lay down some parlays.
And then really, focusing on the games because of parlays, and you do have that casual fan that wants their parlay to hit. And I'm like, I think that the game was already good by itself. I didn't think you needed to put any sauce on it. I think, for them to get people to come and actually watch the games.
Yeah.
But we're getting, like you said, it's all about greed. It's all about expansion. But I don't think that the NCAA thought this shit through. I just don't think they have, and they're going to have more problems than they are going to have solutions to this shit, man. So it's crazy work, man.
But they don't think through anything they do, Jody. They just make up shit as they go along, and it never works out for them. Well, I guess it does money-wise, but they don't give a shit about a certain thing, man. They just, y'all guys do whatever the fuck you want. They don't really have any rules. They like the cool uncle.
And it's like I told you, it's a free agency period. That's what I call the transfer portal. We change this from transfer portal and change it to free agency period in college.
Yeah.
Like, let's call the shit what it is, and that's the problem. We don't call shit how it is. We try to pity pat around shit, and beating around the bush. So if a girl, I can't even say my joke. Anyway,
but don't beat around and beat it. Never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah, right. We can't even say
there's so many jokes there.
But the point I'm trying to make is, on all reality is, and I'm not knocking the college sports game, because they were trying to empower the player, and that's what. Remember when Northwestern was trying to their students were trying to align a union for college players. They were trying to do that. There's a lot of smart kids up at Northwestern. So I see what they were trying to do to empower the player, but you got to have an equal balance across the board. You know what I mean? So you can't just have the players having all this power, and then you try to wheel it back in, and it's too late.
I agree.
We'll talk. We're gonna continue talking about this college football stuff, and he's not the only one. Like I said, he's the only one that actually got caught. But there's a lot of other players that people probably got secrets on.
They're nervous right now. Some players are nervous right now. Oh shit, I might be next. They know they're doing the same thing. Like you said, they haven't got caught yet.
Yeah, so we should definitely see. But man, great show. So we'll be back on Monday. We'll keep our 2-day a week. A lot of podcasts like the Extra Point. They were taking the summer off. If you still want to check the Extra Point out, Paul and T Sizzle, Mike, go ahead. If look up the Extra Point on YouTube, Facebook, IG, and they got some good stuff. Our Take Farrah, that's another one. She's really good at what she's doing over there. So check those guys out for the Extra Point and the Our Take, man. I'm big fans of those fans, as well as they're fans of Against the Grain Sports. But so, man, before we get out of here and go enjoy our weekend, man, can you give me your final thought before we go?
Final thought, man. The New York Knickerbockers, or the closest they have won the championship since 1973. They're one game away from a victory. They got 3 shots at this, man. Whether you like the Knicks or the Spurs, I want the Knicks to do it for Spike Lee. Spike Lee, I know he's a famous guy. He's one of the best directors in Hollywood history, but he's a real Knicks fan. He grew up as a Knicks fan. He started in the cheap seats. When he got some money, he got down there, and you can tell he's not at the game just to be seen. Spike Lee really feels he wants his team to win the championship. And if they find a way to finish his job, no one would be happier in the state of New York than Spike Lee.
No doubt. And let Spike Lee come through he should earn the respect to be able to come through the same interest that the players have came through.
Oh yeah.
They didn't let him do that. I think
I remember that. Yeah.
He earned that right, man. And I mean, Spike Lee's one of the top directors. And, like I said, I get on people that ain't real fans, but like you said, he was a real fan. He was a fan before he had money. So I agree with you. Good final take on that. Spike Lee, man, he's actually a national treasure, not just with the Knicks, but he's a national treasure with African American.
Oh, yeah. Morehouse grad. I love Spike Lee.
Yeah, Spike is definitely the guy. Hey, my final take is this. We're coming to one of my favorite times of the season. That's the Hall of Fame. And I think it's some guys that I'm about to get back on my guys that should be in the Hall of Fame or at least get some consideration. So another guy that I get to on this list, his name is Shaun Alexander, the running back for the Seattle Seahawks. And he played, I think, 1 year with the Washington Redskins. Of course, he's a college star with the Alabama Crimson Tide. I mean, this guy was electrifying, three-time Pro Bowler, lead MVP. He has over 100 touchdowns. Let me put 100 touchdowns in perspective. He has more rushing touchdowns than Barry Sanders, Jerome Bettis, Roger Craig, who's just getting into the Hall of Fame, Thurman Thomas, all y'all favorite running backs, O.J. Simpson. He has more rushing touchdowns than all those guys. And this guy, I know he only has over 9,400 yards rushing, which is still more than Earl Campbell, who's in the Hall of Fame, and it's still more yards rushing than Roger Craig, who's about to get into the Hall of Fame. Now, I know Roger Craig has 4 Super Bowls or 3 Super Bowls or what. I think he was there for all 4. But why are we not praising a guy like a Shaun Alexander who did things the right way? He had 9,400 plus yards rushing, over 100 touchdowns, and he was the lead MVP. Yet still, he may be on the outside looking in when it comes to Hall of Fame mentions because he has more rushing yards also than Terrell Davis. So that's my final take.
Well, Jody, I think that his downfall, he's got the numbers. Sometimes we want these players to be sexy. He just went out there and just did missionary style. And he wasn't doing no back shots, no different helicopter moves. He just went out there and straight drilling. You know what I'm saying? That's what he was doing. And it's not real sexy. You know what I mean? So I think that was probably, people don't really think about Shaun Alexander. What was the biggest play you can think Shaun Alexander had in his career? He just got it done. He didn't have no 80-yard runs and stiff arming people all the way down the field like Marshawn Lynch and other players. He just went out there and got the job done. I think that might be his downfall. People forget about him, I think.
It didn't hurt. I mean, it hurt him playing for Seattle at that time. Seattle became a national treasure when they got the Legion of Boom and Marshawn Lynch, and of course they just won the Super Bowl. So he played, and then he only played the 1 year. I don't even think he played the full year when he went over his last year when he played with the Washington Redskins. I think he got hurt. I don't even think he finished that year. So I'm just like, I don't think it's fair though. I think that you letting some of these guys, and I love Roger Craig. I think Roger Craig's phenomenal. I think he's overdue for the Hall of Fame. But you don't just have to put one guy in the Hall of Fame. There's room for multiple people. There's only like 400 Hall of Famers. I think it's like 400. I know it's under 500 Hall of Famers that have ever made into the Hall of Fame. And we're talking about they've been over hundreds of thousands of players that played. So I think they're getting it right. But so when you see guys like Shaun Alexander not getting in, of course, Lester Hayes not getting into the Hall of Fame. Guys like Donovan McNabb, Doug Williams, and of course they're like, well, Doug Williams is more historical. I think it was he's in the Hall of Fame, just how the same way Joe Namath got into the Hall of Fame, because those are 2 of the monumental moments in NFL history. Both of those guys, and just for people to understand, Joe Namath made it where if he doesn't win Super Bowl III, we don't have a collaboration between the leagues. There would still have been the AFL and the NFL. He made it where they said, okay, the AFL players can play with the NFL players. And that's why they combined the league. If you don't do that, we may not be talking about the NFL the way we're talking about it. And, of course, Doug Williams being the first African-American quarterback to win the Super Bowl and win MVP. And the crazy thing, that was his last game he ever played.
Yeah.
Because I think he probably went off script because that was supposed to be John Elway, because they wanted John Elway to be the face of the league. Because remember, they gave him and I don't like saying this, but they gave John Elway the MVP that year, and he did not deserve the MVP in 1987.
I remember watching that Super Bowl as a kid, Joe. I think I was about 12, 13 years old. And the way it started, and they were calling John Elway Superman because he was catching passes. And, his first play was a touchdown. They were, this guy's Superman. Till that goddamn second quarter got there, we ambushed. And then we put our foot on them, and the rest was history.
And the crazy thing, Doug Williams got hurt in that game.
Yeah, sure did. He probably played the rest of the game with a torn ACL, probably.
And that's something that really needs to be studied. I know I need to get you out of here, but that's something that definitely needs to be studied. Doug Williams did not play another game after that Super Bowl. When have you seen a Super Bowl MVP that didn't retire not play another game after that? Like John Elway retired after his 2 Super Bowls. Remember Peyton Manning retired after his Super Bowl. But everybody else, even Neil O'Donnell got a chance to go steal some money from the Jets after he lost that Super Bowl against the Dallas Cowboys, where he threw the ball to Larry Brown 3 times or 2 times.
Yeah, there's rumors that Doug hurt his back training in that offseason, and he never got his back right again. That's what I heard. I don't know how true that is. That might be a cover-up for other things. But I know one thing, that man ain't lacked for a job since he did win that Super Bowl. He's always had him a job in the league. College football, he's always had him a job.
I met Doug Williams. I actually got a picture with Doug Williams. I met him a couple years ago. I'm saying, I would love, if anybody can get in contact with Doug Williams, I would love for him to come on Against the Grain Sports. Like I said, we got millions of followers. We got millions of people viewing it, so it'd be worth your time. If we can get the story, I would love to get the story firsthand, if he can speak on that, on why he did not play another. And you said it could be rumors he hurt his back, but we know that just because you hurt your back doesn't mean you're going to not play another snap or not even be on a roster. Like, he didn't even get on the roster. What roster was he on?
Yep, these are facts, bro. I mean, I have no real hard evidence on how it happened, but there's rumors of that YouTube videos of him saying, people saying that, like you said, the script was John Elway to win it. So if we give you this, you can't play no more. That's been the talk for a long time.
I'm going to actually jump down the rabbit hole and start doing some research. So on the Monday show, I will have a lot more information, because when I looked at it, I'm like, I never really paid attention. It wasn't just him because Timmy Smith, you remember Timmy Smith?
Yeah.
Now, Timmy Smith actually was on the Cowboy roster after he played for the Washington Redskins, where he ran wild. Everybody know he ran wild.
And that was his rookie year too.
Yeah, he ended up playing a couple more snaps with the Dallas Cowboys. Very limited amount. I think it was right before Emmitt Smith came to town.
Yeah, he got in trouble too. I know he ended up going to jail. Timmy Smith did for a little while there. So
yeah,
he's a Texas kid too.
It's a lot of stuff that we need to uncover on Against the Grain Sports with a little journalistic skills, because there's a lot of players I believe got blackballed. Like guys like Jeff George. I realized, and Jeff George, people forget he was the number 1 pick of the draft, I believe, to the Indianapolis Colts. I think it was in 91.
Yeah.
The number 1 pick. And then he ended up playing with the Raiders. And if you go back and look at the numbers he had with the Raiders, he had some very good years. He had a year where he had he led the NFL in passing yards, 33 touchdowns, only had like 9 interceptions. Yet and still, he didn't play for anybody.
He played with the Redskins for 1 season.
That's what I'm saying. But this guy,
I think a lot of people didn't like Jeff George. He didn't seem like a likable guy. Maybe that was his biggest issue. I mean, the talent was there. No one's going to say that dude didn't have one of the strongest arms in NFL history. I don't think he's very likable.
So to all our fans out here, that we're gonna me, Soul, Ray, Mike, we're gonna get into some deep diving. I'm gonna do some deep diving this weekend, but then I'm gonna deep dive into some.
Oh, okay, Trey Songz. You gonna dive in, Trey Songz?
But on some real, we're gonna because it's the time of the year where the NBA Finals will probably be over very soon.
Yeah.
The World Cup, the NHL Stanley Cup should be done, and it's gonna be kind of like a dead period. Baseball is starting to get its groove, but we're gonna do some research and start giving y'all the real on players like Doug Williams and Jeff George and Timmy Smith, and remember Charles White, the running back. He played for the Rams, had 1 phenomenal year. We're gonna start doing some research on some of these one-hit wonders. What happened? What happened with the organization? Was it a contract dispute? Whatever it may be, we're gonna deep into that and give y'all. We're gonna get our journalistic skills on. But once again, man, I hope you have a great and fabulous Saturday and weekend as well. We'll be back on Monday. I'm your host of Against Your Grain Sports Podcast, Jody Coleman in the building. I got my man Jarrell Soul on Sports Glenn all the way here from San Antonio, Texas, man, providing the great commentary. Yeah, I just disagree with him on the show. I didn't think on his take. I didn't agree with his take. So everybody be like, yo, y'all be agreeing. No, I didn't agree with Soul on it. I didn't. I think I'm gonna disagree. But we will be back. We got my brother Jason the Hefty Lefty in his absence. Michael the People's Champ is on vacation doing a world tour. Andrew mic'd up. He out there doing Daddy Do It 80 AAU. We got Ray more than just a Barbara Lindsay, man. He's at work, working hard. And
He's
Donald,
working hard, huh? Ray's working hard right now.
he's working hard. Then you got Donald, the voice of the youth, in the building. You know, he's been working night shifts, so he's trying to get his schedule together. And of course, man, we couldn't do none of this without my man Jay Kane, the chef, cooking it up in the kitchen. But I just want to let y'all heads up. Next Friday is my birthday.
Oh, your birthday is on Juneteenth, brother.
Yeah, turn up.
Yeah, I'm talking about.
Turn up. So, but we'll be back Monday. We might be talking about crowning a new champ in the NBA because it might be over tonight. So, once again, man, I'm your host, Jody Coleman Against Your Grain Sports, and we'll see y'all Monday. So, what we doing until then?
We working, baby.
See y'all later. Peace.